It's a good way to start the program off. Okay, so I'll go ahead and fire up the TikTok and YouTube, and we'll start the program in three, two, one. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Now, we're going to be talking about obviously what everybody else is talking about. That is the Trump tariffs. I want to get your opinion in regards to whether you think the Trump tariffs are a reason to celebrate or a cause for concern. In addition to asking whether they're a reason to celebrate or a cause for concern, I'm curious as to your opinion on why the tariffs are happening to begin with. Why do you think Trump is imposing tariffs on the nation of China, the nation of Mexico, and Canada? Now, he is stating it's due to fentanyl permeating our borders. Now, he also originally stated that the lack of border security had a lot to do with it as well, but I think it's safe to say now that the border is fairly secure. There's a hell of a lot of military on the southern border. Folks coming into the country are way, way down, way down. So in the northern border was a minor concern to begin with. So if the issue with the tariffs was all about controlling the border, I think it's safe to say that under Trump, the border control is. I think that the border is, if in regards to giving Trump a win or a loss, I think you can give Trump a win on controlling the border. I think that's one of his promises that were made that kind of has already been kept. The border, for the most part, at this point is secure. The only thing that he has to deliver on now is the largest deportation in history. I don't know how that's going because Trump dominates the news so damn much. It's hard to know what is currently going on because every day there's something new. Just yesterday we were talking about, cutting off all aid to Zelenskyy. Day before that, we were talking about over the weekend the argument with Zelenskyy, and today we're talking about tariffs. So he moves at the speed of light. It's very difficult to keep up with the guy. I mean, I gotta give him credit. Every day he's done something major that's in the news today. And today, obviously, we're talking about the tariffs. So I'm going to be asking you folks right off the bat, and I see in the comments, who says this? I'm going to have to put on my spectacles to read this comment because I think it's kind of funny. It doesn't matter says Zelenskyy is a punk. I don't know if Vladimir Zelenskyy of the Ukraine, I don't see that guy as a punk. If he was a punk, when they offered him the ability to basically seek asylum, when Russia started attacking, everybody thought that war would be over with real quick, and the West thought the Russians were wrong at the time. At the time that war kicked off, the entire West, including the United States, thought Russia was wrong, but they couldn't do anything to stop him. So they were giving Zelenskyy and his family a way out, a way to seek asylum and live somewhere else and be safe. And that's where he was quoted as saying, I don't need a ride, I need ammunition. He stayed behind and fought. He didn't have to do that. So the idea that he's a punk, no. He could have said he had bone spurs, I mean, he could have came up with a million reasons for not staying behind on the battlefield and working with his folks. I mean, so no, he's not a punk. He's a patriot if there ever was an example of one. I mean, he's actually there. So, I mean, he's traveling around the world. I mean, a punk is just not it. Now, Trump may end up punking him out because at the end of the day, the goal is to do what's in the best interest of his country. And if you gotta take one for the team, and it's going to save what could amount to thousands of lives, then you may have to do that. I mean, I think his people would understand. I don't think the citizens of the Ukraine view Zelenskyy as a punk. The guy has stayed around and fought Russia gallantly for 3 years. So, and they're doing that. They're getting weapons from America, but they're getting no manpower. They're taking on the Russian juggernaut with no additional manpower, to the point where Russia is getting additional manpower from North Korea. That's a hell of an accomplishment. That's a hell of an accomplishment. And they're not getting our best and brightest weapons either. And they've been able to keep that going for 3 years, and they've killed a lot of Russians. Will they win the war? Probably not. But there is no denying that the Ukrainians have outperformed expectations, overperformed expectations. It's hard to deny that. Even with the equipment that the United States has been giving them, they have greatly overperformed expectations. So to call that guy punk is absolutely out of pocket. That is totally wrong. And I don't think his people will see him that way, even if he does bow down and apologize to Trump or do whatever Trump is requiring. Because I think the people know the fact that he came to the White House and stood his ground like that on worldwide television, I think they know that what he is capable of. But at the end of the day, if he goes and tells his people, I had to do what I had to do to save lives, I think they understand that. So calling Zelenskyy a punk, no, not likely. Looking in the comments though, Trump, what if a bomb, oh my, that answer, you know, I meant to play that last night. What the hell did I just click on? Goddamn. The whole issue about Trump asked, you know, the reporter asked, what happens if Zelenskyy, or better yet, what happens if the Russians and Putin do not honor the ceasefire? Because Trump is bragging that, you know, I've gotten you a ceasefire and you should take the deal. And, you know, one of the reporters asked, well, you know, what this deal you're bragging about, what happens if he doesn't honor the deal? And Trump says, well, what happens if a bomb drops on your head? Literally the most ridiculous response. I mean, damn, I don't even know what to say.
Vice President, I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do we do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation.
Now she's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire? Because this is what Trump is talking about. Zelenskyy should be eager to take. What if you make a deal to bring about a ceasefire and Russia breaks it? That's a legitimate question to ask.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony.
And then he goes into this tirade about how Putin is a victim. Now, what if a bomb dropped on your head? Now, this is what I mentioned earlier last night on the program in regards to Trump seems to separate himself from the United States. When people make deals with America or see things that happen in this country, they're thinking that took place in America. They're not thinking based on individual presidents. So when Trump is bragging that Putin never attacked or never did anything under his watch, the rest of the world is not separating U.S. presidents like that. Right now with the tariffs, America has imposed tariffs on Canada, on China. They're not saying we hate Trump. They're saying we don't like America. So I don't know why he thinks that he can separate himself. Well, under Obama, they attacked Crimea, or they did it under Biden, they did it under Bush, they didn't do it under me. So bringing this up to answer this lady's question of what happens, appreciate that, didn't count. Thank you very much. Thank you. So asking this lady, or answering this woman rather, in regards to what happens if he doesn't honor the ceasefire, and you're actually coming back with, well, he didn't do it under me and he respects me. Well, shit, you ain't gonna be around for 3 years. So what happens if you make a deal with Russia and they give a temporary ceasefire, then they break it in 3 years? Is America going to do anything? He's not offering anything, which is why Zelenskyy didn't take the deal, and I totally understand that. I mean, because there's no glue holding together the ceasefire that Trump is giving. And even according to Trump, he's making it clear the only reason this ain't gonna break out again is because I'm still president. That's not a deal you enter into. Knowing that Trump could change his mind at any given time, which he's shown over and over again. And that, as Zelenskyy pointed out, Putin doesn't honor deals. Putin does not honor deals. He breaks deals all the damn time. All of Europe has said that. So yeah, separating yourself from the country doesn't make sense. But in the comments, Steve, feel free to update your statement. You say now, Steve, in the comments. You guys know how I run the program. We are MAGA friendly, always have been, always will be. We don't block, ban, or censor. So when I say you can be critical of anybody on the show, including yours truly, I do mean that. Steve in the comments is saying you sound misinformed, or better yet, uninformed. He says you sound uninformed big time. Now, he didn't elaborate or add anything to this. I don't know what area of my conversation he's referring to, but he's welcome to update that. Like I said, folks, you can be critical. Let me know what you think I'm getting wrong. Because you're going to certainly feel that way when I go into why I believe Trump is imposing the tariffs. And that's the whole purpose of the show, wasn't to talk about the Zelenskyy deal. And it does look like Zelenskyy is ready to bow down for the sake of saving some of his citizens. It does look like he's ready to, he sent out a tweet or some kind of social media message admitting that, essentially saying at the meeting last time that it got off to a rough start, something like that. He didn't say, I'm sorry, though. He made it clear he's thankful for what the United States has done and things like that, but he didn't say, I'm sorry. He also made it clear that he does want a ceasefire and he's ready to come back to the table. But at this point, you know how Trump is, folks. My guess is Trump wants to hear, I'm sorry. And I don't care how many folks in Ukraine continue to get bombed and killed, he will let that happen until he gets the I'm sorry he's looking for. Now, this is between him and Zelenskyy. It ain't between him and the Ukrainian people or him and the Russian people. So the idea that you're willing to let people die because you want to hear I'm sorry from one guy, but that's how Trump operates. We all know that's how he operates, and I'm going to assume MAGA's probably okay with that. MAGA would probably be okay, because I got somebody in the comments already saying that Zelenskyy is a punk. I would assume that MAGA would be 100% okay with Trump demanding he get an apology and letting Russia continue having its way with the Ukraine until he gets it. So looking in the comments, we'll go ahead and start the program off though. But what we're talking about today is the Trump effect. Do you favor what Trump is doing in regards to the tariffs? And if so, why? How do you see America benefiting? And when I say America, I mean you individually. I don't want to hear about how it'll bring a bunch of money or pay down a deficit. How do you believe the tariffs will benefit you individually? That's what we're going to talk about, because currently, a lot of things that we discuss, particularly with Trump, it's a lot of things that benefit the country, but doesn't make a damn bit of a difference in the life of an average American. I want to hear, we can talk about how it benefits the country if you will, but I am concerned with how does it benefit your life specifically? Does it bring down the price of goods and services? Does it make things easier to access? Things like that. I want to hear how it may benefit your life specifically. 25% tariff on Mexico, 25% tariff to the Canadians, an additional 10% tariff on China, in addition to the one that was already imposed. So we know this is going to lead to something, but how is it beneficial? Do you favor it, or do you have an issue with it happening? Are you against it? So moving on with the program, straight out like that, why sit down with him when he already has a mineral deal with the UK, says Slick? Well, maybe because you want a ceasefire as well. Are we interested in a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine, or are we more interested in getting Ukrainians minerals? In other words, if we don't get any rare earth minerals from the Ukraine, we don't give a damn about sitting there and orchestrating a ceasefire. So when you bring up why sit down with them, it makes it sound like your only concern is getting your hands on their rare earth minerals, not actually orchestrating a ceasefire. You're just trying to get paid. So which one is more important? Going to the box, we'll start the program off Dencal, good evening. Welcome to the show. Why the hell are these tariffs? I'm curious to hear from some of you folks. Why do you think the tariffs? And by the way, do you see the tariffs being beneficial? Dencal, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hey, the tariffs. What say you?
Horrible.
Why?
And a lot of those people, a lot of the MAGA. If you go back and look at some of your posts, they said he's using them as a negotiating tactic. He won't actually do it.
Yep, I was one of those who thought that at the end of the day, yeah, I actually said that too, is that he was just using that to scare them, to get them to come to the table, protect the border, and control the fentanyl. I didn't think he was going to actually pull the trigger. And go ahead. I got a reason why I think he did it, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't look. This ain't a got you thing, but we did have this conversation, and you were giving him credit for negotiating. You said when he did it the first time, you said he got all of these concessions from Canada.
Yep.
They sending troops. They stopping the fentanyl. You said Mexico sending 15,000 troops. Look, he won. So
He was playing chess, not checkers. I definitely.
and we said that no, they are telling him shit just to pacify him. They weren't doing anything. They were just saying, yeah, we'll send troops. Nothing in writing, nothing from the Canadians, nothing. And so now everybody is calling his bluff.
So at the end of the day, why do you think he really imposed those tariffs?
Because I think he thought everybody was going to capitulate. But now he's FAFO. Now you got to do it because if that is your sword, if that is your weapon.
Okay, I get it. So you're saying they called his bluff and they left him no choice but to act.
He has no choice. He didn't get anything out of the bluff.
So is he going to get anything out of the tariffs?
Yes, a lot of pain for the American people, and not just us. It's going to be pain around the world because he's doing this tariff thing to everybody. And all of those other countries have said, yes, we know it's going to be pain for us. They're doing what he didn't do, coming out and saying, this is going to hit us hard, but we have to do it. We cannot just allow them to just disrespect and do this to our country.
Now,
so they're being the patriots and taking it on the chin just to show him that he can't just do that to everybody.
Now I'm going to bring up MAGA, which I do every night, but I want to ask you, even though you're not MAGA, how do you think MAGA, if you had to give your opinion, how do you think they're going to respond to the fact that the tariffs are now imposed and goods and services in this country are likely to go up?
Well, I mean, we would have to ask them that in about a week or two because it hasn't hit them yet.
Right. But I mean, but we know that's kind of inevitable at this point.
Yeah, we do. But we're thinking logically they are not. They are still winning if you ask them. Mm-hmm. They are still winning.
If the price of goods and services goes up, do you believe they still will view Trump as winning?
The 30% who are in the cult, yes. The rest of the people who just voted because they wanted something different, they didn't want to vote for a woman, they didn't want to vote for a black woman, those people will be like, damn, I thought it was bad. I thought it was bad before. But look, what he's doing, it's going to be a little different than when the inflation was high. You know what I'm saying? After COVID and everything happened. You know, this is self-imposed.
Yeah, because I agree with you because when inflation was high, you could quote unquote blame Biden, but there was ways to finagle the conversation. There is no denying under the tariffs that this is Trump's fault. There is no way to say it is any other reason other than what Trump has done.
Well, the 30% of MAGA will say it's the world's fault. They shouldn't have been cheating us over tariffs. They shouldn't have been doing us like that. They shouldn't have been taking advantage of America. They shouldn't have been. They've been twisting into pretzels from the beginning. I don't believe they are going to stop. But they are not the people who got him over the top. It was the other disenfranchised people who thought that, Yeah, I want him to stop gay people from going into bathrooms.
Right.
You know, that kind of, those people who had other motives. I want him to put a total and complete ban on, you know, on abortions. Those people are like, wait a minute. Now I'm struggling now. If we put a 25% tariff on all goods and stuff, they're talking about the plants. Some of the plants in America are going to have to shut down within weeks.
Yeah, I heard them state that the price of a typical automobile could go up as much as $10,000. That's significant. Wow.
And their profit margins are not even that high
Right.
to be able to have, you know, to be able to continue to produce cars if they're going to be taking a loss. That's why they saying the plants will have to shut down.
Yeah. How does Trump make this sound like a legitimate path to take? Let's say you're talking to even a cult member, as you pointed out. You know, let me go ahead. Here, talk to me. There we go. Make this make sense to me. Got my coat hat on. How do you make this make sense, even to somebody that you would say is part of a cult? What can you say to legitimize this?
I would say, listen, the system has been hurting you from the very beginning. It's going to take somebody like me to come in, and I'm going to have to disrupt the whole apple cart. But when I get finished, you're all going to be wealthy, and you're all going to have the lives you want, and your children are going to have the best education, and everybody's going to, you promise them something, because everybody feeds off an incentive, like what's in it for me.
But how long can that, I mean, because he only supposed to get another 3+ years or so. How long are they willing to hold out if that incentive doesn't materialize in a few months, a year? I mean, are they willing to hold out indefinitely?
Yeah, they'll be in shelters saying, if we could just hold on.
In a homeless shelter. Oh my God.
If we could just hold on, I can see things changing. The libs are mad, so we're happy. The libs who run the fallout shelter, they're unhappy, so we can be happy because our day is coming. No longer can trans people go into the bathrooms.
Yeah.
We winning. Our kids are learning about, you know what I'm saying, 1 Corinthians in school. Our children are learning.
Oh shit! Didn't count 2028. Oh my God! I mean, this. How does the world? Can you imagine how does the rest of the world find themselves if what you're saying is true? What might the rest of the world be thinking on something that sounded that fucking crazy?
The rest of the world, and I've stopped watching legacy media as a whole, but I've been looking, you know, TikTok and other media sources that you can get their perspective of other countries.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm listening to these foreign leaders like they not playing. They are ready to break away from America. They are trying to figure out how to get America out of the petrodollar. And we are so far in debt that decoupling would destroy this freaking country. We cannot operate without the revenues generated for other countries. They're talking about forming their own.
I heard about that.
Like they're trying to reinforce the euro and get all of those countries back under the euro, where they would have over 500 million people under their umbrella, vice America, which we got about what
350, yeah.
60.
Yeah.
They're trying to decouple. They're talking about, you know, France is talking about expanding their nuclear footprint. Which if I was France or the UK,
Yeah.
you know how I would solve the war? I would give Ukraine about 10 nuclear bombs.
Damn.
The ones that they gave up during the Budapest Memorandum, all of those nukes they gave up, I would give it back to them, and they would instantly become a nuclear power. There would be there would be what do they call it?
Can that be done that easily?
Mutual destruction would be on the table.
Damn. I never thought of nothing crazy like that. Well, I mean, I suppose if you know, because you got NATO, you got the EU. I guess if they all sat down and had a secret closed door meeting, and they all came to that conclusion, maybe. But the Ukraine
They
is,
are having meetings. They're having meetings right now.
but
That's where that came from, that France was talking about expanding their nuclear footprint. And now, all of these other smaller countries who would be next in line after they take Ukraine, like Poland and you know, those other countries are now, they're pursuing their own nuclear
yeah,
program.
I think that's where the difference between MAGA and non-MAGA in this country view this whole event is that MAGA thinks it's just between Russia and Ukraine. Non-MAGA are just like Eastern Europe, where they don't believe Russia will stop at the Ukraine and will keep going. MAGA doesn't expect Russia to continue attacking beyond the Ukraine because they believe the only reason the war started is because of Ukraine provoked it, which is what Trump is saying. But non-MAGA sees Russia as the aggressor and in process trying to reestablish the Soviet Union. MAGA don't believe that. And I don't understand why.
Just play them the video of him saying if they don't step up in NATO, they on their own. He's already said that to the world. He say, I don't care what Russia does to them if they don't come up to their 2% in NATO. But now he's raised it to 5%.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's going to have to worry about raising it at all at this point. I think they're going to be doing that shit voluntarily now that, I mean, they know for certain that they can't count on the U.S. But one of the things I want to ask before I move it on from you is this. Let's say eventually Trump, Congress, the Senate, whatever comes to their senses. How long do we have before permanent relationship with our ally damage is done?
I would say about a week. If he doesn't rescind these actual tariffs, if they last to a point where it really starts damaging their societies,
Right.
I mean, they should have been that, but you know they're gonna play along as long as they have to because America is very important in this world. Mm-hmm. But when you do a person wrong, like a battered wife, like eventually they move on.
Right.
But in the beginning, when you first start beating them up, all you can tell them is, you know, hey, I won't never do it again, and they accept you.
You sound like you got some experience in this. I'm feeling what you're saying. It makes a lot of sense. You know, I won't hit you again, baby. It's making a lot of sense.
But soon enough, somebody will come along and say, you can't. You know what I'm saying? You got to go to where your support system is. Whether that's a brother, a mother, or somebody, and they say that's enough.
Could be China. Could be another superpower in the making. Could be the EU. I mean, I get what you're saying.
The EU is right now the biggest. Because they're the target after Ukraine. So they're doing it for their own sustainability. It's not just about them helping Ukraine because they're good folk.
Right.
They helping Ukraine because they next.
Any chance some of these countries, because we got bases all over Europe, any chance that we start getting expelled from countries?
Well, we're already talking about removing up to 5,000 troops out of Europe ourselves. So eventually, yes, that's going to be like the only reason why those bases are there are because we are partners in this global organization like the UN.
Right.
We're helping protect them. But if they no longer believe that we're protecting them, why would they let us have access to their airspace and their, all of their intelligence and all of that? That stuff is going to start going away. And I can't keep telling these people enough. What I want them to think about is what if you are wrong, MAGA? What if you're wrong about him being a fascist? What if you're wrong about him doing what he's doing to the international community? What if you're wrong about him firing all of these government workers and it turns out to be bad for this country? What if you're wrong about that stuff? What if you're wrong about getting rid of the Department of Education and your children in these southern states become dumb as a box of rocks because the states don't want to do nothing but teach them the Bible and get rid of all the extracurriculars, all of the things that the community... What if you are wrong? You are giving up our sovereignty as a nation. We are enemies now with every nation on the planet except for Russia now.
In North Korea. Well, to answer your question, MAGA's never wrong. I gotta move it on, then, Cal.
And one more quick thing.
Sure.
This the Trader Lion guy, he's talking about that the reason why Zelenskyy didn't sign the agreement is because they kicked him out. Well, what he doesn't know is he had already said that he wasn't signing the agreement before he came out for that.
Yeah, he didn't get kicked out because he said we were signing an agreement. He was gonna get kicked out anyway. Trump is petty like that.
He told them no, he wasn't signing it with no security agreement, and they brought him out there. They set him up. And then they made this big spectacle, and then they kicked him out. Not because they didn't kick him out.
So what do you think he is talking about now? You think he's wanting to come back to the White House and sign that same agreement? Trump is not offering him anything now. He's not going to offer him anymore.
I don't think he can sign that same agreement because I think he already traded some of those rights away to the EU. He made a deal with them. And he had been farming those rights out to the Saudis and everybody else with some money that would probably help him. But so that same deal is not on the table. But would he come back and sign it? Yes, I think he would bite his tongue. He's listened to enough people saying we got that, we need them. And yes, I do believe he would put his.
But even if he's listened to folks and had a change of heart, you're saying that he cannot honor what the United States wants from Ukraine as far as the rare earth minerals because he don't have as many of them remaining.
Right, they would have to change the deal, but
so will Trump still offer a peace agreement, getting less from the Ukraine?
Eventually, Trump will have to because his promise was what? He was going to be the one to stop the war.
I don't think Trump cares about meeting that promise. If he don't have the money, he don't have the money, and I think MAGA will be okay with that. I mean,
but the whole deal, he never promised to get money out of them. As his campaign play, he know both sides. You notice, you heard it a million times. He knows both sides. He could make a deal real quick.
Yeah, 24 hours. 24 hours.
24 hours. I'll call each side. We'll come together. We'll strike a beautiful, lovely deal, and everybody will be happy.
Right, and now we know that was a crock of shit. Then Cal, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
And that is what he said, what me and Dinkar were discussing. Trump said he could actually in fact, he said he could end the Ukrainian Russian war before ever entering the Oval Office. I mean, that's like a quote. He could do it in 24 hours, even before he was talking about doing it as a president-elect. He actually said, I could end that war as a president-elect. That has been a complete failure. I don't know why, other than just to get elected, why he said that, but he could not do that. Bandito says other countries are definitely cutting us out. We are very badly in debt, which is what led me to ask my last caller is, at what point are some of those relationships damn near irreparable? I mean, at what point does the damage to some of these relationships, I mean, listen, Canada is our neighbor. We got historic ties to both Canada and the UK, but man, like how long does it take to repair that? When you're constantly, just going back and forth with all, I mean, I don't know. Is Trump put us in a position where we're going to be at odds with these countries? That's what we're going to be talking about. Looking in the comments real quick, what country cut us out? Says it's too deep. It's a good question. What country, well, what is the definition of cut us out also? Now, if they're holding EU meetings, closed door meetings behind our back, then they all kind of collectively have cut us out a little bit. You got to assume in Europe at this point, now that they know the United States cannot necessarily be counted on militarily, they're holding closed door meetings likely behind our back. So all of them have cut us out, at least in that aspect, that we're not involved in conversations anymore. You got the UK offering to put boots on the ground in Ukraine. They're doing that without the United States. They've all kind of cut us out in different varying ways or another. Look at the comments. I don't think countries will want to deal with America while Trump stays in, says Sean. In limiting degrees, I can see that. I mean, there's certain areas where they have to deal with America, but yeah, if we keep doing what we're doing, we are certainly incentivizing countries to find alternative avenues to go down as opposed to dealing with the United States. I mean, I'll tell you one thing before I go back to the bots. And by the way, tap the screen, get the likes up to about 20,000. We can certainly make that happen. Tap the screen, helps out the algorithm. You know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor. We always are MAGA friendly, been that way since day one, always will remain that way. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome on the program. So you hear the callers. We take MAGA callers just as easy as we take liberals. In fact, MAGA are my preferred guests. I just get more liberals that call in. But tap the screen. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. So everybody gets a chance to speak on here. Trump is a Russian agent, says, oh my God, says Afri-Israel? Is that a combination between Africa and Israel? I don't think he's a Russian agent, but he is starting to appear like an asset. I mean, they definitely are in a much better position with Trump in the White House than they were with Biden or George W. Bush or Obama. They absolutely are in a better position with Trump 2.0. Even Trump first term, they're doing much better with this second Trump term in the White House than they've done with any other president probably in our lifetime. So I won't say he's an agent of Russia, but he's an asset. I mean, he's certainly what's going on with the Russian-Ukrainian war. Yeah, they're better off. They're certainly in a more advantageous position now that Trump is doing this stuff. So I won't say an agent, but an asset nonetheless. Going back to the box. Thank you, folks, that are tapping the screen. If you favorite civilized dialogue between all sides of the aisle, I'll take this time out, subscribe to the program. We are on YouTube horizontal, YouTube vertical. We are currently also on Instagram Live and TikTok. That's where you're hearing the callers coming in from. Before we go, we'll go over to the next caller here, if it brings him up off of Instagram. He definitely is a Trojan horse. One we'll never forget. Sherbert, Instagram, good evening.
Yeah.
Hey.
How you doing?
I don't know, these tariffs. You think this is a good thing for America?
God, no. Every economist will tell you that, but nobody wants to listen.
That's a good point when you say every economist, because I tried to watch Fox Business. I was interested in hearing what Charles Payne had to say now that Neil Cavuto has retired or left. When you say every economist, I'm trying to find out, because they are right-wing financial analysts. I have not heard anybody say that these tariffs are good in terms of the financial analyst world. I've been looking for that.
You know why?
Why?
Because they got the alternative facts.
So the alternative facts don't indicate this is good either.
But that doesn't matter because God King Trump said over and over and over in his three-peat version, tariffs are good, tariffs are good, tariffs are good. We're going to make so much money, you're going to get tired of winning. I mean, how often does somebody have to lie before you can figure out they're lying about literally?
Well, you kind of misquoted him. He said, if you vote for me, you're going to get tired of winning. He didn't say you're going to make so much money. And to some degree, he is in a category of promises made, promises kept. The Trump supporters are winning. They are winning.
They're winning culture war shit. They're not actually winning in their bank accounts.
True.
And so after everyone goes poor and we go into another recession and we start World War III, it's going to be great.
Bro, he says Zelensky's going to start World War III. You're flirting with World War III.
Yeah, and as we join the Axis powers, we might start World War III. We've got all the weapons. We've got the equipment. We've got the intelligence. Why couldn't we be the ones that start it?
Well,
I mean, how often do you hear all these fucking MAGAs say, oh, Biden's flirting with World War III. Biden's flirting with it, as Trump literally destroys our connection with all the rest of the world.
They said it.
Stock of the world. Why do you want to be the laughing stock of the world? I don't understand.
Well, it's interesting you would say the whole laughing stock comment, because you generally hear from MAGA that now that we got Trump in the office, a real president, we're more respected worldwide.
O'Doyle rules.
What was that?
O'Doyle rules from Happy Madison.
I'm not familiar with
Happy
it.
Gilmore?
Okay.
No, it's Billy Madison.
Yeah, but
it's the bully family, and the whole family in their car is going, O'Doyle rules. rules. O'Doyle rules. And then they drive off a cliff.
Yeah, but that is the argument, though, that now that Trump is in office, America's more respected worldwide.
There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
We're literally getting laughed at. And then right after the day after Zelenskyy gets kicked out, Trump has a new, orange face paint, and he looks like literally a clown. It's amazing how inconsistent his orange on his face is, from one day being super bright to other days being, pretty normal skin tone.
Okay, I did not notice that. Listen.
Like a clown. And we're getting laughed at and feared by the rest of the world. All these MAGA say we're being respected. They just want to be bullies. I don't respect bullies.
Well, look, at the end of the day, they think that he's a bully for the American people. So he's a bully, but he's a patriot.
I come at everything with respect and trying to find the truth. These people don't seem to want to know what the truth is when they deny actual facts. And when the professionals that went after fraud and abuse in our country already, and they fire them immediately instead of finding out what they know, it doesn't tell me they wanted to find fraud and abuse.
So
we literally had cops for this, and they fired them before they even started Doge.
So what do you think they're doing?
It's pretty clear they started the whole crypto shit, and then right before that, they got rid of the Financial Protection Bureau that was specifically in charge of keeping people who do Bitcoin and all those other cryptocurrencies from scamming people. We took away the scamming police before Trump started a whole new national-wide scam. Cool.
Oh, he's only been in 6 weeks or so. What you're saying he's scamming the American people already?
Truthfully, I don't know what the current news is about the crypto reserve or something, but you don't start a whole new financial system right after you fired the financial police.
Yeah. Well,
it doesn't make any sense to me, Tim, and I've never heard MAGA Reacts or Gen X or Jeremy actually give me a real reason other than trust me, bro.
Well, that is the primary reason that Trump most of the stuff he's saying is not really based on,
Just trust me, bro.
Yeah. Most of the stuff right now that people are giving Trump credit for, it is based on trust me what I'm telling you is true. Because I've had people argue with me and swear up and down that I'm the dumbest liberal to come down the pipe because I don't want to give Elon credit for what he's doing. And I'm like, I'm not throwing Elon under the bus. If what he's doing, if he's finding a ton of waste, fraud, and abuse, that's actually a really good thing, I said. But I'm not just going to trust him. I need to see evidence because a lot of things he said has panned out to be false. So without the proof,
The majority.
But it's amazing.
There's a difference between fraud and stuff you don't like.
Yeah.
And there seems to be no differentiation between those two things, the MAGA and Trump and Elon.
But
just because you don't like it doesn't mean it wasn't appropriate and put into bills and need to be paid out.
But that's the winning part. The things we don't like, he's getting rid of.
No, it's cheating. It's not winning. There's a big fucking difference.
Well, Tom Brady won the whole Super Bowl cheating. He's still winning. At the end of the day, he still got a ring. It counts as a win.
Put that asterisk next to the score. What didn't they?
I don't even know if they put an asterisk next to it. It still counts as a win.
But as we're joining the Axis powers, nothing matters anymore, Tim.
Yeah. Like when you mentioned cheating versus winning, what Mitch McConnell did to Obama's Supreme Court pick. That's cheating, but hey, at the end of the day, it counts as a win.
Win for them, for the country. But that's the same short-sightedness that gets us in trouble a lot lately over the last couple of years, is that nobody's looking, not nobody. There's a very particular group of people that are not looking at the total facts. A lot of these things aren't hard to look up. You don't even have to look it up. You can go find credible people that are looking at the sources.
But then I gotta
trust every YouTuber, but when the YouTuber is going to the actual sites and pulling actual data and numbers, I'm gonna believe them a little more than hey, trust me, bro.
Yeah,
the Tim Pools of the world are the dumbest people on the planet.
Yeah, but then they're going to question the sites that you're going to as, the sites themselves.
Oh, you mean the federal websites? The people that give us the numbers? The only numbers we have So we should just go by trust me, bro, instead of the only numbers we have?
I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm just telling you how the shit works.
Don't be fluffing, Tim.
Right.
Don't be fluffing.
Then I'm going to ask you the bombshell question. This is the bombshell question I got to ask you. How would things be going right now if Kamala Harris was in her 6th week? Do you think that so much would have been accomplished? You think the American people would...
It'd be real boring.
Yeah, I agree with that. But would she be doing anything to benefit the country?
Yeah. Should be keeping our shit going instead of destroying it.
What about the Ukrainian-Russian war? You think Kamala Harris can negotiate a ceasefire?
Nobody can negotiate a ceasefire because Putin's going to go against that. He's already, what Zelenskyy was saying, he violated 25 different ceasefires.
Yeah, but Trump can pick up the phone and call Putin and schedule a meeting with Putin. Would he even respect somebody like Kamala Harris?
So, Tim, I believe that Putin is the reason that Trump blew up at Zelenskyy. I think he specifically said, hey, I'll give you another $1 billion to your direct business accounts or however much money, however much influence. But I think Putin said, hey, start a fight, pick a fight, get in there and, blow up the whole thing. And then he did.
Wait a minute.
Provoke it.
If Putin could do that to Trump, then you are essentially saying that, yeah, he definitely is a Russian plan or a Russian asset then. You really believe that Putin could actually order Trump to do shit like that?
Yeah, because you remember when Trump was going through all his lawsuits and he couldn't pull together 150 million, 300 million to pay his the bond so they wouldn't start selling off his shit?
Okay.
But he couldn't even pull together $150 million. He had to try and get that as loans from other people. That tells me a lot, that Trump doesn't actually have money. He has agreements with all these other dictators and things. That's why he likes Russia. That's why he's giving them all their money back again.
So you believe? Wait, I don't know if I buy any of this. You're telling me you believe that Trump, to get out of his own criminal cases and bail money or whatever he needed, appeal money or whatever it's called, bond money to file an appeal. You're telling me you believe that he may have gotten money from the Russian government?
I'm pretty sure he got $10 million from them right before the election. And then, yeah, all of his investments for the last several years before have been paid out by...
Can he legally...
Because he couldn't actually get loans from anybody in the United States.
Can you legally do that?
He can do whatever he wants. He doesn't seem to care what the court says.
Well, yeah, as president, that's different. But as a citizen, he was a presidential candidate. Can you legally borrow your bail money from an enemy?
It's dark money, Tim. They don't have to tell where they got their money from. They've set up the system to do that. What are you talking about?
How can you just make $10 million appear in the country via internet? This is way above my financial knowledge. I don't know what it's like to have $10 million, but how can you make $10 million appear in the United States without somebody catching on and realizing?
Well, I'm pretty sure Trump got $3 billion in his ultimate campaign finances through all the proper channels and the dark money channels. So Kamala raised more money, but with all the advertisements and all the PACs and stuff, Trump got like $3 or $4 billion out of that.
I'm dying to see a source that says this stuff. I'm dying to. I've never heard this before. Getting money from Putin. I could see maybe getting it from Elon. Elon Musk could easily bailed him out and told him, "Look, if you become president, you got some favors to pay back." I mean, I could see him getting it from Elon or Bezos or one of them guys, but
ultimately, it won't matter though, Tim. These people like Maga Reacts won't care.
I don't disagree with that.
I would put in the time to find those stories and find the sources, but ultimately it doesn't fucking matter.
I would, listen, I'm going to agree with you about 90% there that I do believe that if you could find a legitimate source to show that Trump actually did receive the money from Putin, you're right. I don't think MAGA would care, but I would like to just know that myself. I would love to find that out. So it's something where I may chase that down myself and see if I can find anything on. But I do agree with you. Even if you could show them that he received money from Putin, they wouldn't care about it. They would just say it's a loan or, hey, you're entitled to borrow money. I mean, just like anybody else. So I don't think they would have a problem with that.
I mean, you know what you're going to hear is, oh, that money was just a joke. Oh, it's just a joke.
10 million bucks.
Kidding.
10 million bucks. I got it. Before I move it on from you, I don't know if I quite believe that Putin could actually tell Trump to start an argument with Zelenskyy and Trump would just do it. You literally just made Trump sound like Putin's puppet.
But he is.
Based on what?
He's always been Putin's puppet. I mean, not asking any concessions from Russia and then asking for $500 billion, literally the total amount of aid that Ukraine has gotten over the last 3 years. He wants all of that to go back to the United States. He's arguing in bad faith, and all of that makes a lot of sense when you realize that he had private negotiations with Putin literally 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And China. They want to destabilize. They want to change the axis of powers to benefit them instead of just the United States.
Now on the show,
stupid.
Now when you talk about changing the axis of powers, on the show last night we talked about how maybe Trump, Putin, Xi Jinping are acting kind of like a mob boss, dividing the country up into sectors. Do you see any possibility of that being, maybe some reality to that, where the Chinese will get Asia under their control, maybe Netanyahu gets the Middle East, Trump gets North America, and Russia obviously gets Eastern Europe? I mean, can you see where they may be literally coming together and making a pact that you don't step on me, I won't step on you, just like a mob family dividing neighborhoods up? This will be my territory. I get to do business in here. I won't bother your territory. You don't bother mine. Can you see any of that happening?
100%. I'd be surprised if that's not what they're going for right now. Which I don't want that to happen.
No shit. Yeah, because innocent people will die in that.
Everything is about control and power between these three countries. Everything.
It's actually
control or die, and Trump has shown that he doesn't care about doing things the right way. He just wants the power. So of course he's going to try and take over Canada, Mexico, and then have a whole entire continent just to him to fuck around with, and then give to his sons or whoever. He already isn't going to give it to Vance, so I don't know. It's all fucked. I'm getting real pessimistic about all this.
I want you to be wrong, Sherbert, but there's a lot of folks, more and more folks are starting to sound just like you and echo that. And while you were saying that, my TikTok comments are agreeing with you big time. Appreciate you coming through, man.
When does the 14th Amendment come in? What's the breaking point that we start kicking out Trump? Because I think when we start World War III and we're on the wrong side, there might be some movement there. Have a good night, Tim.
You too, man. You too. Wow. Hell of a conversation. Moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen, get the box. And that was an Instagram caller, so understand, folks, we are live on Instagram and TikTok as well. Hell of a lot of folks agreed with my last caller. I'm not totally there because of just the sheer fright of imagining that. That's the sheer fright of that. I want to respond to a couple of super chats before I move on. Will G starts the program off by saying Trump ain't shit. The corporations and tech bros are going to be winning. Trump only said the American people as a dog whistle. So he's not doing anything for the American people, but he's doing things for the tech bros. And he's just saying the American people to appease folks. Is that what you're saying? The corporations and tech bros are going to be winning. Well, I do believe the wealthy will benefit more under Trump than under a liberal administration. Because the whole let the free market decide and less regulation, all of that benefits the corporations and the wealthy more than it does a small guy. When you start removing regulations, I mean, you can really do things like cut corners, safety measures, treat people like shit, violate labor laws, and all. The more regulations you move, yeah, it benefits the corporations because the regulations cost them money. The regulations force them to follow and adhere to certain rules, like OSHA and all of that. Once you start removing that stuff, it's beneficial to them financially. It ain't beneficial to the people. So I do believe the corporations, but man, I don't know. We have to see, but some of this, I'm just baffled because some of this stuff is starting to sound downright frightening. I need some MAGA in my ear. I need to be reassured. So we're gonna try to make that happen because this stuff is really, really I don't know, it really makes you think. Will G says once the robber barons see that the average person is willing to pay higher prices in basic essentials, willing to pay higher prices for basic essentials, goods, the prices will never come down, even when the tariffs are taken off. That is true. That happened after COVID-19. The price of, groceries and cereal and all that shit went up, and they were able to show that Kellogg's, the cereal maker, was it Kellogg's or General Mills? I think it was Kellogg's. I'm pretty sure it was Kellogg's. Still had the price of cereal artificially inflated based on nothing other than the people are willing to pay it. That is true. Once they realize the people are willing to pay, 20, 30% extra for the product, why would you reduce it? Yeah, that is absolutely true. If I'm a conspiracy theorist, I need to speak to Q because Trump ain't shit. Wait a minute. If I'm a conspiracy theorist, I need to speak to Q because Trump ain't shit. Where Q at? Q is gone. Well, no, I take that back. No, Q is not gone. Q is not gone. They're dormant. If Trump had lost to Kamala Harris, you would have saw a lot more Q. But to me, the whole argument about the deep state and all of that stuff, that's still quite, that's a lot of Q stuff there. But you can't really be bringing up the deep state as making all this control while Trump is in control of every damn thing. Otherwise, it makes Trump look like an incompetent president. How can you be talking about the deep state is making all of these, taking all of these actions on America when Trump is in there? Wasn't his job to drain the swamp and get rid of the deep state? So it's dormant. If a liberal was in there, the deep state and all that shit would come back, but they can't use it right now while Trump is in there. So Q is there, but it's dormant. Michael, I don't want to butcher your name, Gillara says, what's the call-in number? I want to reset the tariff conversation for both sides. Michael, we're on Instagram Live and TikTok Live. So if you have either the TikTok app or the Instagram app, come on over from YouTube for a moment. We'll bring you right up and you'll certainly be able to, as you say, reset the tariff conversation. And I'd like to hear from some folks on the right, particularly someone that favors what went on with Trump and Zelenskyy and the tariffs. I would love to hear somebody come up that actually favors that. Because right now, both are unpopular in this country and abroad. Not helping Zelenskyy is not as radioactive as the tariffs, but for the most part, the free world still thinks what Trump is doing with Zelenskyy is wrong as well. And there's a large portion of people, I think the poll suggested about 60 to 70% of Americans don't trust Putin, do not view Putin as a good guy. So that means that's Republicans as well. They just aren't saying anything out loud. Certainly in Congress and in the Senate. Marco Rubio was a big opponent of Russia. He didn't like what was going on with them at all. Now all of a sudden he's sitting there with Zelenskyy on the couch and not saying shit. So it just shows the power of Trump that these folks are willing to really keep their mouth shut, even though we know they don't agree with some of this stuff. Lindsey Graham is another one that has all kinds of anti-Russian quotes out there. And now he's on the side of what Trump is doing is right. All kinds of anti-Russian quotes out there from Lindsey Graham. So yeah, it does show the power of Trump that he can literally make a person go totally against their principles and what they've been preaching for their entire career damn near. Because a lot of these Republicans go back into the Bush administration when Bush was calling it. What was Bush? I stared into Putin's eyes and I saw his soul. George W. Bush did not like the Russian government at all. Yet some of these folks that were around during that time under Trump have seen the light of day, and I have no clue why. Alter ego, appreciate the hat mustache. Yeah, going back to the box. Don't know what I just hit there, but we will bring up as promised. Was it Michael Gilleran? I think that was. We'll go and see if that works. Otherwise, we'll bring up a viewer. There we go. Mike, good evening.
What's up?
Hey, you asked, I delivered. You want to reset the conversation. What say you?
Yeah, so I love free trade. I would love to live in a world where tariffs aren't necessary. You hear a lot of talk about what every economist says. I personally don't know what every economist says, but I want to go back to Adam Smith, who's kind of the grandfather of modern economics. He's also very against tariffs usually, but he does give 4 exceptions to when a tariff may be worth the cost induced. And I want to focus on one of them, which is something he calls the parity of burden. So let's imagine a disparity of burden for a second. Let's imagine we have a law. Okay, let's pick a dramatic example like child labor. So child labor, you can't do that in the U.S. We think that's a good idea. I think that's a good idea. Meanwhile, another country might still be able to use child labor. So what that means is that they have a cost advantage against a domestic producer in that they can create their good cheaper because they're using child labor. So Adam Smith, for instance, would say that it's actually okay in that case to use a tariff to equalize those 2 prices if we truly believe that child labor is unacceptable. Otherwise, what you've done is incentivize people to forego a domestic producer to purchase the same good from somebody who's doing something we find morally reprehensible.
Well, I don't know. How does that? I don't see. I'm trying to figure out how that relates to what's going on now, though.
Well, there's aspects of that underneath it for sure. Trump tends to use tariffs more as a geopolitical tool than an economic policy. And he's able to get away with doing that because the U.S. consumer market is just so necessary for the survival of any global company. And that's why a lot of countries you see will capitulate on these. Like I said, I'm not really a fan of them per se, but I am interested in understanding the mechanics of if and when they're going to work. And you'll see a lot of countries will capitulate on specific demands. And when Trump talks about the tariffs, actually he's rarely talking about a deficit. He's not asking for an economic return. He wants something like, and people may think they're silly, but like the tariffs on Colombia, he wasn't asking for trade equalization with Colombia. He wanted something out of the
But you make it sound like when you say they kind of like they need us more than we need them. So Trump is doing this mainly because he can. We're bigger than you, so you're going to have to bow down. But the problem I have with this is, that is true, they do need us more than we need them. But even still, there are going to be Americans hurt in this. When you're playing an ego battle or a dick measuring contest, you're using innocent Americans that are going to have to pay higher costs for the price of goods and services. For what gains? What does America gain in regards to this in the end? How do we benefit at all? Because we know we're going to have some temporary misery, but what is the gain in it?
What gains there are or aren't, that would be difficult for me to predict. As I said, I'm just trying to reset our understanding of whether or not the mechanics of this work. To what end is an open-ended question.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not. So basically, you're saying even yourself, you're not for sure this is beneficial to America at all.
Well, you'd have to look at that on a case-by-case basis, right? And so that's kind of the point of my call is you have a lot of people on the right saying, oh, we're going to go back to McKinley times and we're going to make so much from...
Wait a minute. Now, you are on the right. Am I correct?
I've become more conservative through my life, I would say. But, I mean, that doesn't mean carte blanche for whatever silly thing people can come up with, right?
Do you favor what he did to Zelenskyy? Stop sending any military assistance.
So I think that's another example of, I think there's a disconnect between the facts on the ground and this almost nostalgia that Americans have for this time when we were much more powerful. and there was more fair play involved. I think the question is not what we want to do, but honestly what we can do at this point. And I think we should have clear eyes for that, certainly. As far as the debacle in the White House, I mean, I think both sides were losers in some respects.
Yeah, but what I'm asking right now, we know he cut off all aid to the Ukraine. Do you believe that that was the right thing to do? Do you favor him doing?
I think that I think that's a really difficult question. There's things I like about it, and there's things I don't. I think what drives it is real, that the Europeans need to take more control of their own security.
And is it possible that if they start taking more control of their own security and get themselves into a place where they no longer have to rely on the U.S. military, will we continue to be the superpower we are? Is it possible that once they realize they don't need us, that may not be in our best interest?
Well, is it in our best interest to continue being a superpower?
Yeah.
Becomes a question. Can we afford it? Is that good for us? Is that good for the world? I mean, I'm not sure who the quote comes from, but they say that the first victims of imperialism are the citizens of the empire. And I mean, that's been true in some ways. We've seen American society really hollowed out since the Bretton Woods Agreement.
So, but if we start becoming more of isolationists, you know, because Trump has said I'm a nationalist or whatever, do you think America would be better off if we only focused on America and started isolating ourselves from the world? I mean, most nations do not meddle in everybody's business, sell every seed. They don't have bases on every continent like America does. But at the end of the day, America is probably one of the wealthiest nations on earth. If we became isolationists, do you believe that that would be beneficial for the lives of the typical American?
Well, with all due respect, I think there's a huge difference between becoming isolationist and saying we're not going to dictate European security policy to them anymore.
Well, you're making adversaries out of Canada and Mexico. So obviously we're doing more than just talking about Greenland and all this stuff. Talking about the Panama Canal, we're doing a lot more than just going after Europe.
Well, the thing about Greenland is that also reveals a huge hypocrisy that's going on coming out of Europe.
I thought about it when I said it. I know where you're going, because the minute I said it, you go ahead. I'll give you the floor, because you're about to say it. I'm like, yeah, that does make sense, and you were about to start saying it. Go ahead.
I don't think it's necessarily. I think it's probably short-sighted and a little stupid and a waste of time to talk about the U.S. taking over Greenland. But you do have to talk about the huge irony that, I mean, my God, Greenland is closer to New York than it is to Copenhagen. And so the EU wants to retain control of, the Danes want to maintain control over it, but then they want to call Trump an imperialist, and it's like, well, my God, they're closer to us than they are to you.
I don't know. I'm starting to wonder, in regards to the tariffs, I mentioned earlier in the show I was going to say this. In my opinion, it has nothing to do with border security or reducing the amount of fentanyl coming in this country. I believe that Trump is trying to expand the size of the United States. I think it's kind of like a land grab of sorts. I mean, he's talking about Panama. We just talked about Greenland, Canada becoming a 51st state. I mean, he's talking about owning Gaza. It sounds like he's trying to expand the size of the United States. He wants to grab something. That's what I'm hearing.
I've heard that theory. Maybe deep down Trump believes in that a little bit, but I don't think the material conditions exist for that to happen. The funny thing about Canada is if we, because of their debt to GDP per capita ratio, they would be a big liberal. They would biggest state. Well, if we took them in, we would be poorer in terms of GDP per capita because Canada is so much less productive than an American worker, and because they have a higher debt to GDP ratio.
Well, but you don't see, because you mentioned he's not in position. I think he's in position to take ownership of Gaza. I don't think there's a lot preventing that from happening.
I hope somebody holds him back on that is the best thing I can say, because even if, I'm not a huge stakeholder in the Israel-Palestine debacle. I mean, we've tried the two-state thing. This is going to sound very callous, but my take on Israel-Palestine is we need to get out and let them figure out their own problems, because we've tried in earnest for so long and nothing ever seems to happen. So I don't want to see us give tons of money to Israel anymore.
If we treat the Israelis like we're treating the Palestinians, they'll have about 6 countries attacking them at once, immediately. They would probably have problems out of maybe Jordan, but they'd have problems out of Egypt immediately because they beat them in a war in the late 70s. They would have problems out of Syria to their north. They would probably have problems immediately out of Iran, maybe the Iraqis, whatever is there. I mean, they would have problems immediately if we stopped helping them.
Yeah, and that's why Egypt is a real question mark, and you see the entire Muslim world basically waiting for what Sisi is going to say and do before they kind of decide how they react to Trump. I mean, Egypt's 100 million people. They're not warmongers, but they'll do it if they have to. But that's kind of Israel's problem. They've been a belligerent in the region for decades now.
Well, you're definitely not MAGA to make a statement like that, because MAGA believes the only reason that the Palestinians are getting their asses kicked is because of October 7th. They don't see anything before that.
I think that you're right when they analyze it from a moralistic perspective. That's what they see, but I also doubt that many MAGA people are interested in the U.S. occupying Gaza. I think they would like to see, deep down in their bones, Israel get the same treatment that Ukraine is getting right now.
I don't know about that. I think they love that Trump Gaza shit. That whole conquering and winning and owning Gaza and making it the Riviera of the Middle East. I think MAGA loves that shit. I don't know. I think we may disagree on that, but I do got to move it on. Definitely our first time talking. Listen, come on up anytime, and I appreciate you coming through.
Take it easy.
You too. Go ahead and drop out and make it work. Thank you. All right. Moving on with the program. We'll bring up, I don't know what I just hit there, but thank you for coming through there, Mike. Gangsta Grandma, good evening. Welcome to the program.
I'm fixing to cheer your ass out. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna hang you by your cojones.
Oh my God, you about to fuck around and mess up a good rope. What you got?
What? Okay, so, Trump is, our country is like going to hell in the handbag. Like, I can't stand Trump. I really can't. We need a lot of Luigis.
What's up? You said we need a lot of Luigi. Are you wishing a bad ending on Trump?
I wish a Big Mac would take him out, but
Damn. What does he did that's that bad that you want the guy's life to end?
Okay, he made a fool of us in that meeting with the Ukraine. That's our damn ally. Okay? He's sucking on Putin's you-know-what. I can't say it. But he's going really hard, like he's deep throwing it big time. You feel what I'm saying?
I'm listening.
Yeah, you know I'm right.
Listen, so you
on it big time.
So you kind of agree with one of my other callers that Trump is a puppet for Putin.
Oh yes, Trump got. Let me tell you something. Russia got something bad on Trump because he is going deep throat and all. Like, you know what? I love sucking on it. On a black man behind it. White man. Like deep, go balls deep. Worse than us women.
What is making you say that? What has Trump done to make you suggest that he is being controlled by Putin like that?
On Putin's nuts, he's gagging. Because look what he's doing. He's taking the spy shit away from Russia, so that they can come and spy on our asses and everything else. They can do that now because he's suspending it.
Wait. You
know what I'm saying?
You said he's taking the spy shit away from who?
Okay. So you know how we got little, CIA and all that over there spying on them and stuff? Oh, he's suspending that shit.
Oh, so you mean...
Really gagging.
Wow, I didn't know this. I mean, because obviously we have agents that are in Russia getting intelligence.
He's suspending it. He's suspending them.
Where did you hear this? Where did you?
Eggplant. It's not even an eggplant.
That's
It's
interesting.
Vienna sausage.
Where did you hear that at? That's interesting. I have not heard
It's
that.
all over the damn news. It's all over the news. Well, they don't have it no more. Like, he's suspending it. The cybersecurity shit. Yeah, it's the truth. So if you don't think that that mofo's working for Russia, well, I don't know. I can't tell you. But then the maggots are like buying into the bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he's not doing it. He's not doing it. Oh, yes, he is. Balls and all, buddy.
Man, your comments are graphic as hell. But if what you're saying about the spy program in Russia is correct, I guess I'm starting to agree with you. Why the hell would he do that?
It's the truth. Why? Because I'm telling you, Putin is making Trump the B word. You know what I mean? Like, all fours and all. I'm sorry, I don't get graphic, honey, but honey, he's balls deep.
What is Trump gaining, in your opinion, by being so cooperative to avoid saying balls deep? What is Trump gaining for taking this like this?
I don't know. Putin got some hard shit on him because he's sucking it big time. Like, you know what I mean? He is. He's doing it. Trump, he got something on Trump that's so bad that he is doing it. He is doing it. He is making the United States look really bad. Really bad. Yeah. He's going against our allies and stuff. Look what he's doing in the trade war. Why would you go against our allies?
I kind of wonder though. Okay, if Trump
I'm
has,
telling you, honey, his dangling must taste really that damn sweet or something, honey.
you and all this.
He's like eating it all up. He's eating it all up, honey. And I love me some dangling, but honey, I can't go that damn deep like that. So, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Honey, he's doing something. That man got something on him, honey. Something on him. He's gagging. For life, he's gagging. Like, shit. You know? I want some gagging too. If I didn't have like shit. Damn.
You're killing me, girl.
I'm not lying.
All
I
right.
can't even go in detail.
Oh my God. Okay. Let me see if I can get the program back on the rails, girl. You are crazy.
I apologize. I won't say that no more.
There's enough already in my memory that I'll be laughing at.
It's the truth. No, look. It's the truth, though. He got something on this man. He got something on Trump. You feel what I'm saying? On some real, he does. Because why is he turning? Why is he making the U.S.? And then we got little puppets. You know, the GOP have no balls no more. The yes master.
Why? I actually do see that clearly and agree with you 100%. What has caused the GOP to suddenly stand on no principles other than whatever he says we're going with that? What caused that?
They don't got no balls. They don't got no balls. They don't. The yes master.
But that's what I'm saying. They didn't used to be that way. They weren't like that under George W. Bush. What has caused that?
I don't know. They probably got some shit on. Probably Putin got some shit on them too. Hell, I don't know. It's the white T-man. You got shit. I don't know. Because I guess they're afraid of Trump. What does Trump got to do?
So the tariffs.
Trump got to do. They scary. They scary. That's what it is. They scary.
So
it's all about the money.
So Putin got Trump by the short and curlies, and Trump got Congress and the Senate by the short and curlies, is what you're saying.
Yep. I'm telling you. Yep. It's gonna get real bad. The tariffs gonna hurt us. And you know what the maggots do? You know what the maggots are saying? Well, it's gonna be okay. They're the ones gonna get hurt the most.
Why do you say that?
They're the ones gonna be hurt the most.
Why do you say
because
that?
Because they're going after the red states. Like Canada's going after the red states. Yep.
But well, if what you're saying is true, that Trump supporters are going to be hurt the most, do you think that they will start to have an about face on Trump? MAGA having an about face on Trump because of his policies. Do you see that? And by the way, M. Bagley, appreciate that. Claude, thank you. Do you see where? Go ahead.
They too special to comprehend what's happening. They too uneducated. They suffer up his dang-a-lang too. They are.
You say that all, wait, come on now. You're not saying that all MAGA are lacking intelligence. You can't say that about the whole group of people, can you?
Yeah. Who will stand by somebody that put gold statues that they so-called Christians? Now, let me tell you something. I'm a Christian, okay? But I'm not a Bible-thumping Christian. Now, I do my faults. You feel what I'm saying? I'm a freak. I do my thing, you know? But I still love me some Jesus. But these fools, they don't even know what the gold statue means. You feel what I mean? And they're still kissing the ring. And they don't even know what a gold statue means. For God's sake, and I am a Christian, and I know what the hell that means.
You know that
Go figure.
it's interesting you would say, because when you're talking about Trump being a puppet of Putin, I see in the comments Will G says, you know, at the end of Training Day with Denzel, how he got basically shot to Swiss cheese by the Russians. What he's saying is, Lord knows what Trump's debt is with the Russians. That's kind of what you're saying. You're indicating that Putin has something over him.
They do, and you know what? Something came out like a few months ago that he was a agent or some shit. I didn't even know if that was true, but look what's all coming to light. He will not turn on Putin for nothing. Nothing. You feel what I'm saying? Nothing. He won't turn on him. He's giving out the cyber, whatever that shit is, security. He's giving that up. He wants the Ukraine to fold to Putin. Oh, hell no. I stand with Ukraine. That's our ally.
Let me ask it to you from a MAGA perspective. We have tried for 50 plus years. Well, let me try.
Like that, fool. Don't hurt my brain like that.
Let's make an effort. I just want you to have an outer body experience from a MAGA perspective. You can answer this. You can answer this any way you want. You know we don't block banner sit, so you can answer it any way you want. From a MAGA perspective, we have. Here's what they're saying. We've tried dealing with Russia as an adversary for 50 plus years. What's wrong with trying some diplomacy, considering that keeping Russia as an enemy has gotten us nowhere? Trump is trying to work with diplomacy to maybe make Russia and America, the relationship, a little less frictional. Can you see any good or any daylight in that?
No, because Russia's our enemy. Russia's always been our enemy. Russia does not like us, and we don't like them.
Yeah, but Trump is trying to change that.
No, he's not. No, he is not. No, he's not. He wants to be, he's already trying to be a dictator as is. He wants to be Russia. Come on now.
But
he does not. No, he does not.
But he clearly doesn't view.
Russia doesn't even want peace. Russia don't want peace? What the hell?
You think Russia
They want to take Ukraine.
You think Russia wants to remain adversaries to the United States?
We never will be. They don't want to be friends with us. They don't. We're a free world. They don't want us.
But what about the fact that
Russia got something on him?
But what about the fact that currently under Trump, our relationship with Russia is improving?
No, it's not. You may think it is, but it's not. It is not improving. Come on now. Get your ass out of that mega brain. Get your ass out that mega brain. And you know damn well it is not.
I disagree.
Come on now.
We got a leader in.
It is not. What is it proving? What's it proving? What is it proving for us?
We got a leader in the White House right now that can pick up the phone anytime.
He's not a leader. He's a puppet.
Anytime.
He's sucking on the weenie.
He can pick up the phone anytime and have a civilized conversation with Putin. Nobody else was able to do that. Is that?
Shit. Okay. If Putin liked Trump, then why was Trump's hoe as a wife, butt naked pictures all over the damn place?
Are you disrespecting the First Lady?
Honey, she is not cute. Have you seen her naked?
Yes,
honey, I went straight. I turned off my lesbian. Honey, I went straight when I seen that. Honey, nah. She ain't all that and about no.
Come on.
Shit out of her.
You're telling me.
That ain't no respect. That ain't none. That was some mayonnaise looking shit on those pics. Like not gag me. Gag.
So you don't find you find the first lady as unattractive.
Oh, her nuts? Oh, God. Vomit.
Oh.
Have you seen them?
Yes, I've seen her.
I'm bisexual, sweetie. I like coochie and I like dang-a-lang. When I seen that, I said straight. I went straight ding-a-lang after that.
Grandma,
I'm being real.
you live up to your.
Mayonnaise, it was sour on me. I can't even look at a jar of mayonnaise anymore looking like that. I'm telling your ass, it was not looking cute.
I tell you, I'm black as hell. You make me. I'm black as hell, and even though I'm black as hell, you make me blush every time I talk to you. Gangsta Grandma.
It's the truth.
I gotta go. I gotta go.
Honey, I went straight up. Like, damn. I can't even look anymore. That was bad. And I ain't gonna lie. That was some horrible shit. I'm being real. I could shoot, ma'am. I went straight. I didn't go lesbian no more. For like a whole week. I could not look at a. Nope, couldn't do it.
I gotta go. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Do.
All right, gangster. Gangster. Oh my God. Listen, we get callers from all sides of the spectrum. That was different. Gangsta Grandma, certainly a friend of the program. Wow. That's all I'll just say. Wow. Oh my God. Anyway, going back to the politics, that was interesting. This is who you want to represent, says Liberty Bell. What do you mean? This is who you want to represent. I don't quite get your comment there, Liberty Bell. Thank God you moved on, says Mr. Walter. I got a few super chats I want to respond to. Man, that was deep. That was different, rather. That was different. It's all about looting the treasury and milking the 99%. The combo of diverting taxpayer money to crypto tax cuts and tariffs is just a thing. You know, the crypto thing, which I questioned last night on the program, there has to be a way to make money off the Trump-Elon presidency because they both got cryptocurrency. They're both drowning in cash, and just being affiliated with those two somehow, some way, there has to be ways to make money. But I will also say, in addition to what we talked about last night with that, if you're going to do some underhanded shit, crypto has made it easier to do that. Earlier in the program, one of my callers suggested that Putin and the Russian government helped Trump out during his legal cases to the tune of 10 million or even more. And I question, how could you get money in the country internationally without it drawing attention? People brought up campaign contributions and things like that, which seems like it would be a red flag if the Russian government was suddenly contributing to an American campaign. But crypto is the way. Secret wallet, nobody knows anything about it. That is a way to really handle and launder dark money. At least from my analysis of it. I don't know a whole lot about crypto, but the part I do know makes it seem like that would be a great way to launder dirty money because it is so far down under the radar where, you know, even the government, like for instance, can you garnish? I don't think the government, can they actually seize crypto money? Can they even do that kind of stuff? Like right now, a lot of the Russian oligarchs we had seize their assets, which Trump is giving back to them. Very similar to the whole Iranian deal. Remember Obama gave the Iranians their money back and the right was talking about how bad he was. He gave Iran all his money back. Trump is doing that now with Russia. He's giving them all of the money we seized from them. So he's doing the same thing. I don't think you're going to hear a lot from Maga about it, but he is doing the exact same thing now. Money we seized from Russia due to their nefarious actions, just like we had seized money from Iran, and Trump made a deal with the Iranians to actually adhere to some of our consequences, and and they benefited by getting their seized funding back. Well, Trump has done the same thing with the Russians, and he ain't made no kind of deal with them. He just released the money and gave it back to them. Like I said, you're not going to hear much from the right about that, but that's exactly what's going on. Real quick before we continue on, I want to make sure I respond. If they say he's never lied, then they're that dumb. Yeah, if anybody says, I think just, especially from a presidential level, if you're going to say that Trump has never told a lie, and I've had callers and guests say that, that's insane. All politicians lie, and I think Trump has probably did that more than anybody, simply put, because he talks so much. So, like they said already that Trump's been in office for a little bit less than 2 months at this point. And I forget how many hundreds of questions he's answered from reporters. It's been, the last I checked was about a week or two ago when Fox News was televising it. He's answered like 10 times as many questions from reporters as Biden had during the same period of time. At this point, it's probably more like 11, 12, 13 times as many because he keeps doing it. But because he answers so many questions, he holds so many rallies, if he repeats a lie, he's going to repeat it over and over again. He's going to keep repeating it over and over again, such as when he was demanding the rare earth minerals from the Ukraine and saying that they owed us $500 billion or something like that. That number's greatly inflated. That's not true. And he's repeated it over and over again because he talks so much. So he's going to certainly tell more lies than any other politician just because of the fact that he holds more press conferences. And he tends to repeat the same lie from conference to conference to conference. And that means you told one story that was not true 4 or 5 times, 10 times over and over again. So he lied more than all of them. Russia was the only ally in World War II because we had the same enemy. It wasn't with respect or love. Well, true, Russia was our ally in World War II, but they wasn't the only one. I mean, obviously the UK, France, who else was our allies? I'm trying to think of a big ally. I mean, we had allies other than just Russia, but I get what you're saying. And what he says, roughly 30,000 lies in his first term. Yeah, I heard it was more than that. I actually heard it was more than that. Because he, like I said, he goes from place to place, holding all these rallies, repeating the same shit. A lot of the claims about the Haitian migrants, I can't stop bringing that up. That's a complete lie. I mean, obviously, every time he talks about the election, something he says involved in that is not true. Anytime he talks about the 2020 election, some of that's, whether it's the million voting machines, dead people voting. Now they got this whole thing about people getting Social Security at the age of 150. A lot of that's not true. Certainly the numbers, the amount of people that are getting fraudulent payments. Yeah, and he says it over and over again from place to place to place. So it is what it is. Meaty Rock says, you don't know that. You just trust people's word over his. Now, I know the Haitian migrant thing, I'm fairly certain is not true. Fairly certain is not true. And the proof is in the pudding that Trump, during his first term, passed a law that made it a felony to abuse animals. So he clearly cares about animals. He made it a law, made it a felony to abuse animals. You're going to tell me they're eating pets in Springfield. You're out here talking about DEI and affirmative. What are you doing about the pets that are being killed? You haven't heard him say a damn thing about that at all since he became president, which shows there was no major issue there. That, to me, you don't need to hear anything more than to see what his actions are to show you that's a clear-cut lie. No follow-up. You haven't heard him say anything else about it or anything. It was a lie. It was a lie, plain and simple. So, yeah, you don't need to necessarily trust people's words. Sometimes it's pretty clear what he said is a lie by his own actions. It's a cult, Tim, says Kevin Kills. I believe the cult thing alone, I hear that often. Let me go back to the bots. Nobody is getting fraudulent payments. If they were, where are the indictments? And that's a great point to be made as well. One of the arguments, I got into a debate, and I'll go to the bots after this, but I got into a debate with somebody that swore up and down that the Republicans do not intend to touch Social Security. I don't know if they are or not. I'm not going to try to spread misinformation or propaganda based on what the liberals are saying. Are they going to touch Social Security? Some say yes, others say you don't have to worry about that. But I will point this out. Elon Musk has been promising to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse in federal spending. Saying that everywhere you go. When you listen to what he is saying about the Social Security Administration, people getting checks at 150, people are dead still receiving money from Social Security. Now he's on Joe Rogan referring to it as a Ponzi scheme. It's clear that he believes there's a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse within the Social Security Administration. Now, taking that in consideration, when you look at how he's handled waste, fraud, and abuse in other organizations, oftentimes it is widespread terminations or getting rid of the organization altogether. He's pointing out a ton of waste, fraud, and abuse in the Social Security Administration. I'm not saying he's going to get rid of Social Security, but he's going to do something. He's not known for pointing out all this waste, fraud, and abuse in any organization and doing nothing at all. So something is going to happen to Social Security. I'm just basing that on his prior actions. Anywhere he claims he's found waste, fraud, and abuse, he's done something with that organization. It's generally been mass amounts of firings or a complete eradication of that organization in every case. So if he's pointing all this shit out in the Social Security Administration, he's going to do something about it. I don't think that's a speculation, propaganda, or liberal talking points. I think that is based on the analysis of what he's done so far. Something is going to happen with Social Security if Elon Musk is allowed to continue. Just pointing out the facts. Let me go back to the boxing real quick. Trump owes Putin. He is in debt with Putin, says Bandito. That's what my last caller was talking about, but she used a lot of graphic descriptions to talk about what Trump is doing to Putin. Canada is not becoming a 51st state. That's what Trudeau says, but some are arguing that Trump intends to destroy the Canadian economy and maybe force their hand in some way or another. Dennis Calhoun says Hegseth stops offensive cyber operations against Russia. And, you know, I said that on the program last night, and I got hammered for saying this, but it does seem like we are becoming a Russian ally. I mean, everything he's doing towards Russians is favorable. Like, everything he's doing is in favor of Russia. I think it's hard to deny that. Going back to the box, one of my subscribers, we tend to give him first digs. Miss Mo Betta, good evening.
Good evening, Tim. Hold on. You know, I got to turn my camera on.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Well, yeah, you left me on hold. I was like, it's late. I got to go to work in the morning. Let me go to bed.
And you must have, yeah, because the minute I went in there looking for you, I even called your name out and you were gone already.
Yeah, nah, I had to go to bed. It was late. I stopped by somebody else's real quick and I was like, night.
So how are we looking now? I mean, we got tariffs. We're not sending money to Zelenskyy anymore. Are we on track now? Is Trump making America great?
No, he's making us Russia's second state. we Russia's 51st state.
So you're making it sound like Russia owns us.
And soon enough he will. He owns Trump already.
So you also believe that Putin has something over Trump?
Yes, and you know what? They've been telling us now, like I said, that day he had that meeting in the Oval Office with Zelenskyy in there, that kind of solidified it for me. He showed me. You showed that you have something really to prove. They crashed out talking about him not wearing a suit and him not saying thank you. You tell us what he's over there doing so we can back the reasons why you don't want to give him any more support.
Yeah, to me, questioning why Zelenskyy did not have a suit on really shows a lot of just disdain and overall dislike for the guy, considering we've been seeing Elon Musk walking around with a tech support shirt on all over the damn place. Yeah.
And Black Maga had one. Like I say, he has his son in the Oval Office putting boogers all over every dang thing. Yeah. Come on, they worried about the wrong thing. And he brings JD because JD Vance he has no filter when it comes to his mouth. First of all, he don't even like Trump. It just so happens he I don't know, for whatever reason Trump chose him.
You think you think that JD Vance does not like Trump?
No, he doesn't, and Trump knows it. That's why Trump said he wouldn't even endorse him as the president, the next president.
So what the hell are they doing then? If he the vice
again, they're all into this crypto now. They're trying to figure out how to get all of this stuff so we can get. You already know there's a bunch of, in my opinion, there's a bunch of inside trading going on.
You make it sound like we just hired a bunch of bank robbers.
That's what they are. They're a bunch of thugs. Look at the track record of the people that he put in place. All of them got a record, including him.
So
am I lying? Am I lying though? I'm just saying.
Not totally. I don't know about all the people you put in place, but you do make a good point. I seen somebody say that in the comedy show that the guy we put a 34-time felon to find fraud. Like,
Make it make sense.
somebody else did say that as a comedy.
Make that make sense because again, we expected him to be honest. He didn't even want to show his taxes, but y'all in there chasing other people's taxes down. We still waiting to see your tax records.
What did he do to get this kind of trust?
They had the coins. Once he got Elania on his side, where he can back him as far as money goes.
Elania,
yes. And once he got Elania in there, and to back him as far finances go, they was like, listen, this is what we can do. We don't care what happens to the little people. They'll be all right. All they're going to do is get here on TikTok. We're going to complain while the wheels keep turning for us. Because that's what's happening. They're getting richer by the day, and we got people out here almost on the breadline because they're firing them.
you got a whole lot of people that are quite happy that Elon is finding billions of dollars in waste, that they've gotten rid of this DEI shit, they've controlled, the border, the LGBTQ are not running wild. I want you to answer, because in the comments I got somebody right now that's saying this lady is nuts, says Fred Inkle. How do you respond to folks that might suggest you, and hell, even I, just are a bunch of Trump derangement syndrome rolled up into a nice, neat ball?
Again, I pay attention to people's patterns. He showed who he was back before he was even president. Before he even became president the first time, we knew he was a crook. I'm from New York. We know about Trump.
Yeah.
He can't pee in my ear and tell me it's raining. Sorry. Now that y'all drank that orange Kool-Aid, that's not my problem. You know what his supporters fell in love with is his nerve. Because he's bold enough to come out and say what is halfway on his mind because the other half don't work. He's bold enough to say it. They are in love with that because that empowers them.
But I can kind of see, is there not something that's refreshing in having a politician that literally tells you how he feels and he doesn't mince words, he don't try to talk down to you? If the guy feels like today is a bad day, he'll just tell you today is a shitty day. Is that not something that's refreshing?
See, that's the problem because he flip-flops. Because ain't no telling what he said to Putin on that phone because Putin has, right now, he is in his glory. You understand what I'm saying? For him to be an adversary of ours, he's sitting back because my thing is when Trump was having this meeting with Zelenskyy, why didn't you invite Putin in as well? Why wouldn't you invite them both in?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
He also got rid of, he also got,
call him out for the things that he's done to Ukraine. Why won't you? We've been supporting them. We've been giving them their weapons, spending our money on them. Why aren't you questioning Putin as to why do you keep invading these people? But he wants Zelenskyy to bow down, surrender, and go over there and try to extort him out of 5 times the amount of the stuff that we were giving him. Because that's what it is. It's nothing short of extortion.
Well, when you ask why we need to look into why does Russia keep invading them, the Tucker Carlsons of the world, even the right might suggest it's because there was a promise allegedly made that NATO would not get any closer to Russia's border, and the Ukraine has been constantly trying to join NATO. And folks believe that legitimizes the Russian invasion.
See, that's kind of crazy. You know why? Because even if that's what Ukraine believed, if that's what those people believe, they didn't act on it. Russia acted on it. There's a difference. That's what I said. We can't pay attention to what people say. You got to pay attention to how they move. It's their patterns. It's the patterns that do it for me. I don't know about them.
Yeah, but the question is, the counterpoint on behalf of MAGA would be, should they just sit there and wait until Ukraine is officially in NATO, or should they act proactively to stop it?
Well, of course, the wise person would do that. Like, we got to stop this now.
Right.
However, that's why, like I said, I gave him a lot of respect because I'm going to stand up for my country, win, lose, or draw. And that's what he said. And that's what that meeting told me. I'm going to stand up for mine. I'm not just going to hand it over to you. First of all, we We fought this far, and Putin was that big of a man. Why is it taking him 3 years with 3 times the amount of people to do what he got to do?
That's a great point. That is a great point. They have fought a gallant fight. Yeah, they used American weapons, but they didn't need any additional manpower. In fact, the Russians have had to bring in the North Koreans because they needed manpower. So
And that's the thing. And my opinion again, I don't believe Russia is as strong as they want us to believe. See, he's like Trump. They have a lot of similarities when it comes to the brain. I'm going to sell you this illusion. I'm going to sell it to you until I have to prove it.
So let me
Once I have to prove it, then I'm a pivot.
So let me ask you this.
I'm a pivot.
Yeah, well, he's known for that. So let me ask you this, though. It's pretty clear that Trump is, he's withdrew all help to the Ukrainians. Should Zelenskyy, under these circumstances, issue an apology to Trump to try to continue the aid going to the Ukraine?
Why apologize now? Especially too when he was welcomed with open arms with the Europeans. Because listen, I now I'm gonna have to do what I have to do. I'm not bowing down to you.
Because
do you see how they welcome Zelenskyy over there?
Well, because we got better shit. Like in the comments, the real Planet X says, I would rather be friends with a superpower nation than a weak begging nation. Now, you're right. The Europeans are willing to step up and help the Ukrainians, but we got the best shit.
And listen, don't be fooled. They got some shit too. We used to be a superpower. Now the kryptonite we got.
Yeah, but when it comes to intelligence,
that Oz, Takesha was calling last night. The Oz was in the office now. He hide behind that curtain. I'm a fake it till I make it type guy. That's who he is.
So do you think, based on what you're saying, let me just ask you this. Do you think the next 4 years, do you think Trump will walk out with a successful presidency?
No. If he, no. I'm not even going to try to justify it. No.
What metrics?
No, according to him, he would be.
Okay.
According to him, he's the greatest. It's gonna be the biggest and the best. I'm doing everything that nobody else done. Yeah, like cause nothing but chaos. Yeah, you did. You're the first one to do it.
What metrics are you going by that leads you to believe he won't be successful though? I mean, economy.
He talk about America first, and he's firing all the Americans. Make it make sense.
Well,
that's not American. You don't want to. You take it from veterans. Number one, you're firing people. Look at the homelessness rate. You're taking away Department of Education. You want to take away SNAP benefits and stuff that benefits a lot of American people, whether we want to admit that it doesn't or not. A lot of people depend on that stuff. Even if you don't personally, if it's supposed to be about America, all of that stuff plays a part. Stop saying, go out there and get a job like everybody else. How can anybody make it make sense now? How can anybody working at McDonald's, making $15 an hour, working 15 hours a week, afford $1,500 to $1,600 a month rent? Because
they're going to tell you McDonald's is not the place you should be working if you're trying to maintain an apartment. And they said they believe that place is for kids. It ain't for an adult trying to maintain an adult lifestyle.
When was the last time you seen any kids working at McDonald's? I don't really go there, but the last time I took my son there, I seen adults in there working. I didn't see any children.
That's a good.
In school, because in school hours the kids can't work there. McDonald's is open pretty much all day. The kids are in school.
That's a good point. That McDonald's is open, after, like you said, during school and even often late in the evenings. There's no way, teenagers are gonna be in there all those hours. That's a good point.
Yeah, because rent is high, and you know what? There's no restriction when it comes to how much people charge for rent. There's no borders on that stuff.
Well, Jackie in the comments said that you need to work more hours if you can't afford to rent.
What you gonna go in there and hijack the boss? Some people should just mind the business that pay him and shut the fuck up, because that was asinine. That's asinine. If you put you on the schedule for 15 hours, you're not gonna go in there and bully your way around. You're gonna be fired.
Yeah, but you do know, working at McDonald's with a 15-hour per week schedule or whatever the hell, you're not going to be able to afford an apartment no matter who president.
But again, all right, so he's taking away programs that people that do actually work those jobs have to actually depends on, like Section 8 and SNAP benefits and different things like that. Those are some of those people that receive those things do work. Now you keep saying go get a job that's paying more money. If you, I'm gonna go and work as Secretary of the State. Let me apply for the job without any kind of education.
Right, I get
do you think they're gonna just hire anybody off the street?
No, I get what you're. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but there's a lot of levels between Secretary of State and working at McDonald's.
I'm just using that as an example, but there's still a lot of other things that they're not gonna hire you for. They're not gonna hire the people that are working in McDonald's. All right, let me go fill out this over here. I'll be a secretary in the county or something like that. No, they're gonna take people that do have these college educations and stuff first. So if you don't have then you want to say, oh well, you should go to college. People can't afford that either, and America doesn't want to help them. Talk about, oh well, I had to pay, so they should have to pay.
And you raise a good point. You raise a good point. You raise a good point about America not wanting to help them, and I had to pay, so you should have to pay. Because the whole argument is, instead of sending money overseas, let's take care of Americans first. But you're making the argument they ain't gonna do that no matter what.
They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna help us out. And they keep saying Elon and them finding any money. Name me a specific where the fraud that they found. Because first of all, we already know they inflated the numbers of how much they found, right?
Yeah.
They put $8 billion and it's only actually $8 million. It might end up $8 billion after you add all of that stuff together, but it's not what they're putting up on their sites. That's why when you go to the sites to look for it, all of that stuff is removed. A lot of that stuff is taken off because it's false. It's they're lies.
I am aware that's happened, but in regards to what has he done or not, I can't throw him under the bus because he said he's done a lot of stuff. As you rightfully point out, some of that stuff has not been true. But I'm going to reserve my opinion on Elon because at the end of the day, he hasn't proved anything. If he comes through and actually proves a lot of that stuff, some of it might be good. But right now, MAGA and the right are celebrating Elon simply on what he's telling people. I'm not there yet because, like I said, a lot of things he's told people has turned out to be not accurate. So
I need receipts before I buy into it. I'm sorry.
Same.
I need some receipts because their math is not mathing.
No argument there. No argument.
Their math is not mathing. Like I said, they buy into the nerve. They buy into him having the balls to say whatever, whether it's true or not, because most of it we know he's proven wrong, lying 35,000 times. They still follow him because he gives them he's like a battery to them. Because then they get on here and talk shit, and then somebody got to cuss them out, and they won't play with them. Call in and report you to TikTok and all that stuff. You see what happened?
Are you telling me MAGA? You're not telling me MAGA is all about cancel culture. You're not telling me MAGAs are snowflakes?
MAGA, a.k.a. moo-moos. And
I know what that means. I got to go. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Mobetta. Always a pleasure. Moving on with the program. You too. Moving on with the program, who has time to count 30,000 lies? Plenty of people do. What does it say? Trouble Man Mike. You say who has time? That's easily done. The media is literally watching everything he says. There's records of every speech he gives, every tweet he sends out. It ain't hard to do that if you break down. I mean, when you think about a big news organization like MSNBC or CNN that may count his lies for you, how hard is it to get 5 or 6 people and your job is to simply go over what Trump said to the public? Your job is every Monday for Trump's term. So you're talking, I don't know, maybe 200 Mondays. You can easily go over those speeches while you're sitting around at the house, while you're feeding your dog, walking your dog, you listen. It ain't hard to, some of the lies are pretty well known. I don't think it's that hard to count them. It's just not that hard to count them. So certainly when he's talking about the election, every time he says, I won the 2020 election by a landslide, you could probably, now with AI, you could probably just record his shit and program the computer to pick those statements out. So a lot of them are already being counted because he repeats the same stuff over and over again. I don't think it's that hard to count it as you might think in the age of AI, in the age of microprocessing and search. You can do searches in regards to his tweets, input them all into a machine. Anytime he uses the word dominion, I mean, you know he's going to follow it up by saying the machines cheated. I mean, I don't think it's that hard to find that out. I think nowadays with all of the search process in AI that exists, you can easily find that out. Looking in the comments, you don't even need AI, says Tag Team Games. But I think AI and I think being able to use search words in his speeches make it a lot quicker. I mean, like for instance, you feed all his statements into a machine and you type in Dominion, 2020 election, you can just read the next. If you type in 2020 election, whatever it spits out where 2020 election is highlighted, chances are when you read the following that goes after that, he's going to say something that's not true about that election. You know, January 6th, put that in as a search and see what he said about it. Chances are something is in there that's not true. So I don't think it's that hard to find the 30,000 if you got a decent team with a few weeks to work on it. And not to mention, they're counting him in real time. Like right now, there are people that are counting his lies already in his second term. There are people, just like there were people counting Biden's. So they're counting in real time. Real quick in the comments, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. The website's 105 billion saved. And that's what I'm saying in regards to Elon and how much money is being saved. I'm not throwing the guy under the bus. I'm not going to say he didn't do shit or he's the next best, greatest thing since sliced bread. I need to see receipts. He said he's done a whole lot of things that he has not proven to be true yet. So until he proves it, I'm not going to chastise him for it and I'm not going to celebrate for it. If you don't like him, you're going to instantly dispel everything he said as a lie. If you love him, you're just going to trust everything he's saying as the truth. I'm in the middle on that. Let me see actual proof of what you're doing. Because the whole, chainsaw approach where he was on stage with the chainsaw, the reason I don't like the chainsaw approach is, let's say you got gangrene or you got frostbite, or you got dead skin and they need to remove a limb or they need to remove some fingers or something like that to prevent further infection. Diabetes, whatever causes some of your body. If the surgeon is using a chainsaw, you're going to cut off some good flesh too, because it's not a precision way to cut. I don't like the chainsaw approach because as I'm talking about cutting off good flesh, there are good American citizens getting fired that don't deserve to be fired because he's using a chainsaw instead of a scalpel. So we can celebrate what he is finding in terms of waste, fraud, and abuse, but that don't mean because he found millions of dollars of fraud, you ignore all of the innocent people, hardworking Americans that are getting fired in the process. Innocent people are being cut. He's using a chainsaw to cut off dead flesh, but he's taking off good flesh too. You don't ignore that. So that's the part I don't like, because the MAGA side is giving them credit for finding all this waste, fraud, and abuse. They don't give a damn about the innocent people getting caught up in it. I don't like that. I was talking in a debate earlier, and I used the analogy of a bank robber running into a school and the police shooting up the whole school and bragging about that they killed the bank robber. They stopped him from robbing future banks. Nobody gives a damn about all the students that are laid out. We got the bank robber. That's all. That's what it sounds like. MAGA, in my opinion, is they only care about finding the waste, fraud, and abuse. All of the innocent casualties, the innocent victims, oh well, you can find another job. Just no concern about all the innocent people getting caught up in it. I don't like that. And that's my take on it. Going back to the box, the innocent are the taxpayers. Well, maybe that too. Show me a show-off that wouldn't show off if he could. MLK? What do you mean? Show you a show-off that wouldn't show off if he could. Who hired the innocent people? America. They work for the federal government. Going back to the bots, some of them are MAGA. Yeah, some of them definitely are MAGA that's getting caught up in this shit. No doubt about that. Going back to the box, I don't know what I'm looking at, but we'll go to one of my viewers, Chris Sanders. Good evening. Welcome to the program, Chris. Listen, the only way to see past the politics, pay attention to where the money is going. They're not going to tell you that. And that's one of the great points that I've been saying, is that I don't care how much money Elon is bragging about, he's saving the American taxpayers. If he's not telling us what you're doing with the money, Who gives a damn? I'd rather know that the money is going to the Ukrainians or starving Africans or something like that than to know you saved us billions of dollars and it didn't make a difference in my life one damn bit. At least the Africans or the Ukrainians or whoever, at least they were acknowledging that the money was helping them out. If you saved America damn near $1 trillion and no American is bragging about how that money helped them out, then damn it, send it overseas. Because at least we can now see the benefits of the money being spent. Just telling me you're saving money don't help me out one damn bit. So I agree with the notion of following the money. And right now, Elon Musk and Trump have not presented any type of agenda even for what they plan on doing with the money they're saving. Nothing at all. So to me, bragging that you're saving billions of dollars and you're not, that ain't an accomplishment in itself. Other than, here's where I can see it might be an accomplishment, at least for Maga. Let's say you can show that you prevented money going to a cause that MAGA don't like. Their viewpoint is, I don't give a damn if I don't get any of the money. I feel happy just knowing it didn't go to them people or that group or that cause or that study. I think that's more of what it is. I just don't want to know that money is going to help that cause. I don't need any of it. Just stop it from going to that cause because I don't favor that cause. I think it's more of that than people actually benefiting from it. Like DEI and affirmative action is something that MAGA really likes that Trump took a stance on that. Even though very few Trump supporters are being hurt by DEI at all. You don't hear, because if you can show that you applied for a job and you had more talent, more merit, but they put in a woman or a black person or Hispanic over you, you have at least a lawsuit. Notice nobody's coming forward and saying I sued because of this, or I can show my resume is way better than the person they put in. Notice how nobody's coming forward and saying that. They're just yelling DEI. So I just don't want my money or my country allowing something like that to exist. Even though it really ain't affecting me at all, I just don't like it. That's what I believe in. It's going back to the box. Tried to bring a guest up. It did not work. I'll go back to the box. Don't know what's happening there. Stick, Darula. Good evening, Stick. Maybe I'm having problems with the box. I don't know. Maybe the box. We'll give it a second here. Otherwise, we'll continue on. Gas went up, Tim. Yeah, the thing is under Trump promising, he promised to get the economy back on track. On day one, he said that. I don't think anything has went down since Trump became president. In fact, a lot of things have went up. As you're pointing out, gas, the price of eggs was a big conversation under Biden. You notice you don't hear anything about eggs at all from the right anymore. I watch a lot of Fox News. They would have reporters doing segments in the grocery aisle during the Biden administration. None of that's happening anymore. They don't even discuss the price of eggs at all. But when Biden was in office, every morning you could look on there and they're talking about the different things. The price of eggs was part of the conversation. Even in Fox and Friends in the morning, they're talking about the price of eggs. It's not even been discussed anymore, even though the price went up. So kind of makes you wonder, was the price of eggs really hurting the American people at all? They seem to be okay with it now. He never said he would fix everything on day one. Trump, what is this? Says Trump won bitches. I love the name. Well, you're saying he never said he would fix everything on day one. True. But he did say he would fix a lot of things on day one. And he's fixed nothing on day one. So you're right. He didn't say everything, but he did say he said he's going to end the Russian-Ukrainian war. He said he was going to turn the economy around on day one. That didn't happen. So no, he didn't say he was going to do everything, but in reality, he did nothing. So none of the day one promises have been met that I can see of, other than, I guess some of the executive orders like freeing the January 6th hostages, as you guys, that stuff he did on day one. But things that affected the average American, I don't know what he's did anything on day one. I think all of this shit, we're now saying, no, you can't do that on day one. You got to wait a few months or however long it takes. Will G says, therefore, Trump. Will G, you be killing it with that. Therefore, Trump ain't shit. All right, so continuing on with the program, insurance cut in half. Isn't insurance cut in half? You know, I got a notice that's saying that Elon and the Doge outfit is doing something with insurance. Has anybody else heard anything like that? That Doge is going to be responsible for subsidized insurance or something like that? I thought rent was cut in half. That definitely didn't happen. Yeah, Trump made a lot of promises that people bought into that the president really has no control over that. Like lowering inner city crime. He promised to bring crime down in liberal cities. There's no way the president can do that unless you just completely throw out states' rights out the window and start sending the federal government in places, which is exactly the opposite of what the right tends to want, is federal government every damn where. So yeah, he made a lot of promises that are not, they're not possible. They're not possible, such as, lowering crime in major cities. Doge is quitting. Doge is gutting the absolute waste of, what did he say? How about the borders and immigration? He absolutely successfully did that. I'll give Trump major credit for securing the border. There's no denying he did that. Border is way more secure than it was under Biden. Probably under Obama too, even though Obama was known for deporting people. I don't know about Trump meeting his promise of being the largest having the largest deportation in history just yet. But border security under Trump is significant. He has succeeded in that part. Mike, I'm gonna get chewed out, but let's see what Mike has to say. Good evening, Mike. The bitter gas has been unsecured. What does that mean? Good evening. Tariffs.
What's going on?
Tariffs. What say you?
Crazy as shit. Did you see? Did you listen to Trudeau? Did you listen?
Yeah,
to his speech?
talking about why would you do this to your friends and all that. Yeah, I heard him. I listened to his whole speech.
Do you see how he addressed Americans as if he were our leader?
Yeah, and he called Trump Donald.
He called him Donald.
Yeah,
he called him Trump Donald.
Called him by his first name. Yeah.
Yeah, you see how presidential he was when he did that? That's what a leader does.
Yeah.
That's what a leader's supposed to do. It's crazy. And for people to think that this is a good thing, it's not a good thing. But, there's a lot of backdoor channel shit going on that we'll probably never know the extent of what they're talking about. Should
Zelensky apologize to Trump?
Should he? Well, listen, I don't think he should apologize because I don't think he did anything wrong. Will he apologize?
What would you, if that whole event happened and you got into a spat with Trump on national TV, but you had millions of people in your country hoping for a ceasefire, what would you do if you were in Zelensky's position where the American government was demanding an apology? What would you do?
Whatever I had to do to protect my people.
So you bow down.
Whatever I had to do to protect my people. But here's the hard part. He can't trust any of them. He can't trust Trump. He can't trust Putin to do what they agreed to do. So that's what I was saying when it happened. It's like, he's in it. You gotta trust the people you're talking to in order to take a firm position that I'm going to apologize and that my apology is going to mean something, or you're going to use it for political favor and say, see, he even knew he was wrong. Or you can't trust any of that shit. So you're in a damn if you don't. But I do think he's going to come back to the table after he's talked to his European allies. I do believe that. I do believe that how Europe is talking to Zelensky and trying to give him support, and other countries are. I do think he's in a better position when he does come back to the table. But let's be honest, they're trying to fleece the shit out of Ukraine, they're trying to do everybody else.
Yeah, he clearly was trying to get more money out of Ukraine than they owed. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that he was trying to get more money from them by saying it was $500 billion, $1 billion or whatever, and everybody knows that we didn't help them out to that tune.
Yeah, it wasn't even close to that.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close to that tune. But why are we talking about it now while they're still in the throes of this conflict? Why are they talking? I mean, come on, Tim. I mean, so that's like you going through something, something very serious in your life, and somebody comes to you in the midst of that, in the midst of you fighting for your life. You laying in your hospital bed, and they say, by the way, bro, what about that $200? You said she was gonna pay me. Can I get off of dialysis first, Negro? Yeah. Can I get out of here first?
I said that's exactly what I said when this whole thing came up with the rare earth minerals. I'm like, their country is still at war. They got rubble everywhere, and you're in the middle of this saying we want to get paid back. It just looks cruel.
It is. And listen, any Trump supporter that's talking about minerals, as soon as they bring the topic up, they're being about as disingenuous as they can, because minerals was not part of the reason they voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we can talk about a lot of activities that are happening right now that were never on the table as to why they voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Right. So to even get into a deep dialogue about it, I'm like, the whole conversation is disingenuous to me because it was never part of what we talked about. Now they're trying to make it make sense after the fact. But you got to ask yourself, why are they doing things now that they didn't campaign on? If you look at the source of these slimy, greasy son of bitches, it'll tell you why. Because they're lining their own pockets. We know that, right? I mean, think about this, Tim. In the midst
How do you know? We can't confirm that we know that. How can you say you know they're lining their own pockets?
Okay. Well, okay.
We can say it's possible for sure, but we don't know that.
Is it more possible or probable? See, this is what I was telling you about the other day when you talk about wins, and I said set the expectation. Do you have a resume, Tim?
Yes.
Do you have a physical resume? What's your resume for?
Oh, you mean my workout electronics? You tell me what my spec? Yeah.
You have a resume.
Yeah.
What does it tell you? What is it for?
If I'm not looking for a job, but that's what it would be for.
Correct. So, but your history as a person matters. Who you are, what you do matters. That resume matters. All I'm saying is I'm looking at what they've done. I'm looking at the work they put in. And the work they put in tells me, it would lead me to believe I need to be more cautious.
I don't think that. I think you got, in the age of Trump, I think you got that wrong. I don't think Trump is really going by resume. I think he's going by loyalty. Unless your resume you put on there, how loyal you are. I think he's more concerned with loyalty than your actual resume.
I'm not saying by going by an actual resume. I'm saying I'm looking at the resume of them and what they've been doing. When you ask me how can I come to a certain conclusion, I'm saying the evidence that they provided in our face, whether you look it up as an article or you read or you watch video or you look at the things that they're doing, I can't ignore that and say, well, maybe they're actually trying to do the right thing. I can't do that shit. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense.
Wait. If he really is cutting all this waste, fraud, and abuse, you don't see that as trying to do the right thing?
Again, Tim, you asked me this before, and I said, to what extent? Because I don't trust the source. These dudes, what are they doing? I mean, they're telling us about it, but they haven't shown us anything. They haven't shown us a damn thing, right?
What if he shows you? What if he shows you receipts that he did fight all this waste, fraud, and abuse? Would you retract your statement and give Elon and Trump credit?
Here's what I would do. I would say, yes, they found this waste and fraud, but I would still be waiting for the other shoe to drop. Because they're not doing, here's the thing, just like I told you, when Elon gave all that money to Trump's campaign, he didn't do that for nothing. We talked about this before the election, right, Tim?
The belief is, listen, he helped Trump out, and he did that because he genuinely wanted to make America a better country. It sounds fucking ridiculous. I get it.
That's my whole point.
I get it.
Even as you said it, you didn't keep a straight face. Yeah. So all I'm saying is, this is what I'm saying. What I just saw them do with Zelenskyy in that office, when I saw all those dudes standing over him about wearing a suit, when Elon was just sitting there without a suit on, it tells me who they are. I don't need to stand around and wait for them to do it to me. I don't have to stand around and wait to be verified that they're doing what I think they're doing. I need to position myself to prepare for what I think they're doing. And all they keep doing is showing us that they're doing what we think they're doing.
Yeah, you know it does. Because I know a lot of my Maga viewers view Elon Musk as a patriot, but it does bear, that is a legitimate question to ask. Okay, this guy don't gave Trump $300 million to his campaign, and the belief is he just really wanted to make America great, that he's willing, you know, ever heard the phrase, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. It doesn't make a lot of sense that a rich man is just going to come up off of $300 million of his own money and start doing all this to make America great if he's not benefiting from it in some way or another. I'm trying to play devil's advocate, which I usually can. That don't make no fucking sense. It really
It
don't.
doesn't make sense, Tim. And here's the thing. So what I did when I first heard that, what I did is I went to do some research on Elon. I went to see what type of in-kind donations has Elon given in the course of his business life and personal life. And all of his contributions are back to his causes and back to his businesses. Yeah. But you can't go any deeper to see what he did with the money after that. It kind of goes dark. You understand what I'm telling you? So let's not try to make them be somebody that they haven't shown us that they are.
But I always get folks to the counter. Overcomer on YouTube is saying that's exactly what I would do if I was a billionaire. Is I would donate a bunch of money to a politician and then work on making that country great. It don't make no sense to me, and I'm trying to make it make sense. Out of all the shit I would be doing if I had Elon Musk's money, the last thing I would do is get involved in government and fire a bunch of people.
Isn't that stupid? I mean, listen, Tim. Okay, so I'm gonna answer. Trey said something in the comment about me proving it. If you're trying to do right by America or for America, Elon, do you think making the suggestion that Trump pardon Derek Chauvin? Do you think that making that public sentiment about pardoning the officer that unalived George Floyd is really a conversation we need to be having right now? Even suggesting it with the optics of what's going on today, is that a smart move? Is that something that tells you it's about America? It's about making America better, about everyone here in America? Well, absolutely not.
I don't even think, because Derek Chauvin does have federal, civil rights violence. I mean, he does, part of that is his sentence, but, his state sentence is bigger. So even if Trump pardoned him, he can't save him from the state of Minnesota. So he could do it for symbolic purposes. And MAGA would certainly celebrate that.
Right, and they would celebrate a police officer that unalived somebody on television being pardoned. And my question, again, is, where does that statement align with moving us forward?
Well, Derek Chauvin didn't kill George Floyd. George Floyd died of COVID or a heart attack or a drug. He didn't.
There you go. There you go with the fuckery. And see, here's the thing. I knew you were gonna go there. I knew you were gonna go there because I get it. I get it. And you're so funny. There'll be some people in your comments going, "Yeah, of course he didn't die. They had fentanyl, all this crazy. It's nonsense." But my point is, it doesn't move us forward, is what was my point. It does nothing for the conversation. What J.D. Vance did to Zelenskyy doesn't make anyone feel better. And how do we know? Because the world responded. How did the world respond? How did other world leaders respond to that? Don't take my word for it. How did the rest of the world leaders respond, Tim?
Not well. Well, in regards to your comment, just going back about how pardoning Derek Chauvin would not move the world forward. I don't think it's about moving the world forward. I think it's about winning. And I think that if Trump could get Derek Chauvin out of custody, that is a win in regards to sticking it to BLM, sticking it to the anti-police liberals, and they would count it as a win. They would certainly love to see Derek Chauvin walk out of incarceration. They would love that.
Yeah, sure. So now we're back to that winning shit again. You and I are back to this definition of winning.
You already know what yeah.
But again, no one wins with that. No one wins with that. All you do, honestly, is put more officers in jeopardy. That's really all you do. You put more people in jeopardy because now you have citizens going, I can't depend on law enforcement or the law to protect me. So I have to protect myself. And you got good officers out there that are going to be in the crosshairs of somebody thinking like that. This is what happens.
I don't think they care about any of that. I get your point, but I don't think they care about any of that.
Which, again, but what I just said has to do with Americans, right? It has to do with the American people. So if they don't care about what I just said, back to my original point, they don't care about truly the American people because you would not allow that to happen. You would not allow another person to get caught up in it, but you're right, they don't care. So that's why I can't have a conversation about are they trying to do the right thing for America because they're not showing us that they are. We never talked about minerals in Ukraine. That was never a part of it. So allow all of those Ukrainians to potentially get wiped out by Russia for some minerals is absurd to me. But
I think the minerals are just like the tariffs based on fentanyl. I don't think that I don't think Trump is imposing the tariffs because he cares about fentanyl coming in the country. Now, I'm not saying he does. I'm not saying he does not want fentanyl to come in the country. I'm sure he probably does want that to be stopped. But I don't believe it has anything to do with the tariffs. I believe that Trump is trying to deliberately act on a land grab, maybe weaken the Canadians' economy so that, he has more options there because he clearly wants them to be part of America. He said it many times. Same thing with Mexico. I mean, for some reason or another, he may be trying to collapse their economy. I think the tariffs have a different reason than what he is telling us.
So are you suggesting that he's lying? I'm just asking.
Trump doesn't lie. He exaggerates a little bit. He doesn't lie.
So what crazy grandma was talking about earlier, going back to that real quick, Pete has suspended the cybersecurity that was for Russia, right?
I hadn't heard that. I had not heard that.
Yeah, that was maybe yesterday or the day before. And now they're talking about easing sanctions on Russia.
Yeah, I do know about that. I do know about that.
Easing sanctions, you're suspending the cybersecurity office that protects us from Russia, just Russia, in the midst of trying to stop this conflict.
Putin is actually, in terms of Interpol, Putin is a war criminal. So even if we ease the sanctions on him, certainly at this point with our relationship with Europe, I doubt if they follow suit on that. So it ain't like he still can't. In fact, all of these motherfuckers are. I don't know about Xi Jinping, but I do know Netanyahu's a war criminal now. The people that Trump is associating with, Putin, it ain't gonna be long before Trump ends up being viewed as a war criminal too. But yeah, the people he's associated with are all war criminals.
So 100%. So again, Tim, there are 361 people. By the way, we got to get Tim up to at least 100,000 before we leave. I mean, there's 361 people in here. 100,000 out, it should be easy.
I didn't ask you. Appreciate that. Yeah, get my damn likes up. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, that's 100,000. I mean, we tapped the screen 100 times, and we'll blow right past that. 100 times each, we'll blow right past
Appreciate that.
But here's the thing. We have to stop making these. They haven't earned the right to give them to rationalize your own thought process, right, Tim? Like you said talking to me right now, you said, I'm trying to make sense of it, right?
I'm trying.
You're trying to make sense, right? You're trying. So
some of it I can. Like the winning, I know how important the winning is to MAGA. I can make sense of that.
But you're talking about MAGA winning. That's a different definition that we've all grown up to winning. I told you this before. You're saying it's a victory, like it would be a victory for MAGA to get Derek Chauvin pardoned for unaliving somebody on. That's a win. Just like
okay, listen. I'm a Chicago Bears fan. For me, hearing that the quarterback of Green Bay, which is our arch rivals, hearing that the quarterback got injured, that's a win for me. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's a win to know that the people you don't like are going through hardship and misery. And Trump is hurting the people that MAGA do not have a favorable viewpoint on. LGBT, DEI, affirmative action. They're losing. Trump is winning in those areas.
Okay, so I'm gonna use your analogy that you just gave me. Are you hoping that he unalived for your team to win, Tim? Are you hoping that a player gets paralyzed for your team to win, Tim?
No, not.
Are you setting out to tell your players to target them, to unalive them, to win, Tim?
I don't want the quarterback of the Packers to die, no.
Okay then, but here's the thing. That's not where their line stops. That's not where their line isn't stopping about humanity. Their line isn't stopping about character and integrity. They don't have that line. That's what I'm saying. So when you call it a win, they're winning with people being unalive, with not caring about health care, without caring about women's rights. And when they call that a win, that's not a win. If somebody has to unalive for me to get a W, what kind of fucking person am I, or who are we exalting behind that desk to say that's the example I want to set for the country, is to put somebody behind that desk that doesn't give a shit about nobody to get a W?
You just have a different opinion of what a win is. I mean, maybe yours is a little bit more humane, but I'm saying for them it's still winning. Yeah, if a woman is denied the right to choose, and it leads to her, her death or whatever the case may be, we're still counting it a win because women do not have the right to terminate the unborn. Yeah, she's a casualty that happens. Just like when it comes to the gun debate. Yeah, a few schools get shot up, but we are here to fight for the right for Americans to be able to own guns. Yeah, a few people die every now and then, but the win is in the 2A legislation remaining under and shall not be infringed mantra. So yeah, there's some humanity questions to be brought up, but they're looking at the win. They're not looking at humanity.
Did you say some humanity
I'm
questions?
trying.
Listen, I know, I get it. I get the format. But at the end of the day, because what you just said is not what they said about Lincoln Riley. That's not what they said. They said one was too many. That's not what they said.
Yeah.
What they're saying and what they're doing and how they're trying to excuse it is the problem. If people are believing this, and it's crazy as hell. You don't have to listen to anything that we're saying. Look how the world's responding. Just look how the world's responding. Listen, you have leaders of this country speaking to us directly.
Yeah, you're talking about Trudeau.
To the American
Trudeau.
people.
The crazy thing, you mentioned Trudeau. The crazy thing is Trudeau's numbers were his poll numbers in Canada were terrible. He was talking about he was coming up on a resignation. Apparently, what Trump is doing has united Canada, and his poll numbers are skyrocketing. Just like under George W. Bush after 9/11, people unite when the country is going through something all together at once. They're uniting behind Trudeau. He's actually helping Trudeau's political career out behind that.
Yeah, and here's the thing. He's publicly saying the right things. He's publicly doing what he's supposed to do. Right. I don't know what he believes behind the scene. I don't know what he's going to do behind the scenes. But I know what he stood up and said, and it was the right thing, and he's getting the right response. And he's not the only country saying that. Yeah. And while we think somehow that these tariffs are going to be a good thing, you can't get around them. You cannot get around them. When they're talking about, and it's already happening. Companies are already adjusting pricing for as long as they can, and they're hoping to most companies like mine, we're hoping to spread that cost out as long as we can before we have to forward it on to the
Can you imagine some of these companies that may have contracts with the federal government? They've already taken hits because of that shit. Now there's a terror. Some companies out here in America are taking double hits because firing the federal employees and getting rid of government contracts has already hurt some American companies that may have been dealing with the federal government. Now along comes the tariffs on top. So there are some people that's getting a double whammy in regards to this. I'm sure that will come out eventually.
Oh, it will. It will 100% come out. And my last thing, Tim. Just we can't let this ride. We can't let this idea. I know you have to play devil's advocate. I know we have to look at things differently. But at the end of the day, a thing is a thing. Some of the stuff is just bullshit. Some of the stuff is just inhumane. Some of the shit is just cruel. Right? It is what it is.
We call that out. We call that out.
Yeah. And I know you do. And I know you do. And by the way, Grandma was trying to, I don't know where y'all. Why don't y'all just go ahead and get it over with instead of getting on live with all these people? Just go ahead and get it over with.
She hadn't been on the program in at least a month or two. She came in hard as hell.
Yeah. There's a reason. There's a reason why people come in like that when they get comfortable in the surroundings that they in. There's a vibe she gets from you. I'm just saying.
I'm about free speech, Mike. That's how we work. I gotta go, but we free speech here. So the vibe is as long as the censors don't fuck with you, I'm gonna let you speak, left or right. So the vibe is you can speak here. Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's right. All right, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And by the way, thank you for.
Look at them likes.
I was just about to say that. Thanks for tapping the screen. Appreciate it. Almost 100,000. Y'all can make that work. We're almost there. It's happening around the world. I don't know what you were saying there, G. Lewis. Somebody said something I was mentioning earlier, and I wanted to tackle. It was criticism towards me, and I don't mind that. David says you're indoctrinated if you believe that. What did I say in regards to that? Something about the cruelty. I wish I could remember it so I could answer. I could actually entertain your comment, David, but I don't remember what I was saying at that point. Will G says you don't need to look far to see that corruption is all over the Trump administration. Elon cutting programs that investigated him is a bad deal. I agree with that. Trump fires the IGs and Forrest retired another top black 3-star general. Why is he replacing everybody of color he fires with somebody white? I don't want to get too deep down the race rabbit hole, but you notice that everybody he's firing that he's claiming to be DEI, he's replacing them with white males. Isn't that the reason DEI was created? Is that they were only hiring white males? So, I'm just bringing this up because one of the main issues you hear from people of color, mainly black folks, that when was America great? Why do we want to make America great? And when in the hell was America great? Sounds like you're trying to take us back to the 1950s. And Maga's like, no, that's not what we're talking about doing. But then this guy is saying that all of the prominent members of color only got hired because they are a member of color, and he's replacing them with white males. So he literally is almost doing exactly why they got why they got DEI around to begin with, is that you got to hire some people that are not just white all the damn time. That was the reason DEI was created. Now, I know the right believes this lack of merit. The whole merit thing, I don't understand. Let's say you own a business or you control several employees. Let's say you got 100 subordinates under you on a factory floor. 100 people working under your command, under your management. They're all white. And all of a sudden DEI policies come on and they say, listen, we need at least 20% of your workforce to either, we need at least, you can have 80% of them white, because they do represent the majority of the U.S. population. But we need at least 20% of your workforce to consist of women, people of color, maybe a disabled person or two. Why is the belief that under those circumstances, the person is going to then go out and hire a bunch of unqualified people? As if there are no people of color you can find that are qualified. Why do people automatically assume that if you got hired as part of DEI initiatives, you don't know the job? Just because somebody tell you to go find somebody of color or a woman, don't mean the person you find is unqualified. So I don't understand where the merit keeps coming up. I could tell you to go out and find a black woman or a Hispanic woman or a gay person to do a job, and if you had enough time, you could find somebody qualified that fits one of those categories. So why is it automatically assumed that if somebody's hired based on that, they don't have the merit? That's what I don't get why that keeps coming up. I just don't understand that. Looking in the comments, because they ain't qualified, says, where's the evidence of that though? Now, he just got rid of the head of the Coast Guard. I believe he got rid of a 4-star black general. Where's the evidence to say this guy got the job and does not have the qualifications? Because you notice the people he is firing, claiming that they're DEI, he ain't bringing up their qualifications at all. If they're not qualified, why don't you fire somebody that is a female, a person of color, or a member of the LGBTQ community, and then show us their resume to make it clear this person should have never had the job. Like Pete Hegseth, for instance. If you look at Pete Hegseth's resume, like how the hell did he get this job? Or if you look at RFK's resume, where he has no medical history, medical background at all, other than being an attorney and suing medical companies, how the hell did he become the head of Health and Human Services? That's what DEI looks like when you talk about no merit. That's what no merit looks like. You don't have the resume for this job. I don't see that with the people that Trump is firing. They actually do have the resume. They just happen to have the wrong skin color or the wrong genitalia. That's all I'm saying. They do have the skin color. Or they do have the bullet points on their resume. Because if they didn't have the actual qualifications, Trump would be pointing that out. And you notice he's not doing that. He's not pointing out this general got 4 stars on him. And look what he's done. He hasn't been anywhere. He hasn't served any. Why ain't he saying that? Why isn't he saying that? That should tell you everything you need to know. These people do have the merit. Looking in the comments, General C.Q. Brown was very qualified, as well as General Lloyd Austin, says Carlos. Yeah, why not show us if they're DEI hires? Let's see what they've done in the military. Show us that they never deserve those stars that are on their shoulders. Why aren't they doing that? Pete Hegseth is military. Stand up and show us. Let me see you as, what was he, a major? Let me see you as a major stand before a 4-star general and tell him he didn't earn his stripe, he didn't earn his stars. Pete Hegseth, do that. That's what we need to see. You're not going to see that, though. They're just firing people because they don't like them, kind of sounds like. Looking in the comments, I see I am let it K for something says because Trump is racist. Look, show us that they lacked merit is what I'm saying. Show us that. Don't just fire people and say they're DEI. Show us that they never should have got the job. At least one of them. Do it with at least one of them. Derek Chauvin Simps are wild, says Will. People, during that time, we've had, when Derek Chauvin got convicted, I was on live. And yeah, people definitely went apeshit about that. It was almost like the O.J. Simpson conviction again. A lot of white people did not want Derek Chauvin to do a day. Like, this guy died of a heart attack. He died of fentanyl. He had cocaine. I mean, I've heard so many different ways that guy died. None of it had anything to do with that knee on his neck. None of it. So it kind of reminded me of everybody standing around during the O.J. Simpson trial, if you go back far enough. Before I continue on with the program, I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats, but I would really feel better if they actually showed the lack of merit for all the people they're firing. And is there even one? Has there been even one person that they've claimed to be a DEI that they got rid of and they've been able to show you this person had no merit? Just one of them. Gabbard and Patel, Tulsi Gabbard and Cash Patel are the ultimate Trump worshipers and severely unqualified. Tulsi Gabbard, she's also military. Now, she's dealing with intelligence. I don't know what her military background is for that either. Like I said, for Trump, loyalty is the qualification he's seeking. You can kind of work with everything else. If you're loyal, we can kind of work with you on everything else. And I think that's his primary qualification he's going. Show us Trump's not DEI. Well, Trump got voted in, so it doesn't matter. Let me go back to the box. And thank you guys for getting me over 109,000. I am Marcus. Mr. Walter, I think I meant to click. Thank you. I'm Marcus. Good evening.
Man, what's up, my guy? Man, I ain't seen you in a while, man.
Appreciate it. Damn, how did you get? You just got here. Somebody calling in on you? Jesus.
Yeah, I guess so, because everybody, hey, they come where I come when I go live, man. So
okay.
He was at 310, I at 351 when I'm in the box.
All right.
But listen, so what is your topic of the day? Because I can spit from everywhere. I'm gonna let you ask questions or whatever, how I feel. That's what you do. So I'm in because I see a lot of pivoting from the left, a lot of pivoting.
How do you feel about the tariffs?
I mean, the tariffs. The thing of it is, look, I'm not that's not my forte, right? So my thing is that that was his thing in his first administration. It was effective, and Canada.
How was it effective? What's making you say it was effective?
It was effective. That was his key strengths, and I think that if COVID wouldn't have came, I think he probably would have got reelected, but it didn't happen.
I agree with that. I do believe that if he didn't handle COVID so poorly, the pandemic, I do believe he would have got elected. But he fucked up the pandemic pretty bad, in my opinion. You're telling me tariffs were successful in his first administration? I'm not aware of that.
Well, what I'm gonna say. He's the first president that used tariffs besides Reagan, right? So
there may be a reason for that.
Well, but the thing of it is that like he says, man, listen, Trump is not my daddy. I'm not. So for everybody in the chat, listen, Trump, I don't worship Trump. It's just that, I voted for Obama in 2008. So they tell you, but time has changed. But this man said that everybody, before he even announced he was running for president, is that everybody need to pay their fair share. And for so long, Canada has been milking us. Look at Ukraine. Like now, Zelenskyy
is want to renegotiate because of the fact that he he fucked up. We want peace through strength. When Trump was in office and has some give him credit where credit due. When Trump was in office, did they have any wars?
I think the wars during Trump's first term were among the American people, but you're right. Globally, there was less. I mean, there was some conflict, but it wasn't as bad as under Biden. I'll agree with that.
Right. And then what happened? Russia invaded Ukraine as soon as Biden got in office. Okay. And that's what we're going through now. And they gave billions of dollars to Ukraine, right? Okay. So, you know what I mean? So, and I love coming in live because, man, you're going to call a spade with a spade, And that's one thing, you always, welcome in my lives all the time. I used to love you and my grandma go at it, but...
Oh man, that's you. Yeah, I did used to debate your grandma. That is, I thought I recognized you. That's been a while, man. Yeah, I do remember that now.
My big account, I had 140,000 followers. They got banned, so I'm on my last man standing right here. So
you've been defending Trump too much, huh?
Well, it's been facts over feelings for me. It's not about just defending Trump. It's just been facts over feelings for me. Is because my thing is that, if the party of the left, which is the Democratic Party, y'all party voted in the congressional to vote that it's okay for women to compete with men's sport. It's not okay for women. I mean, not women, but it's men to compete in women's sport.
Something to me.
I agree with that bill, bro, and as big as I know that, man, that's not okay.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you right off the bat. To me, your statement that the Democrats voted for men to be able to compete in women's sports is very similar to saying the Democrats voted to defund the police. Most Democrats do not agree with that. Most Democratic voters and politicians do not agree with defunding the police or letting boys play in women's sports. You're finding the far left and tying the whole party, making it sound like everybody's in favor of that. It's just not true. I just did a video. Hold on, hang on. I just did a video on YouTube yesterday that's on my YouTube page showing a Fox News study that even says that 90% of Republicans do not favor letting biological males play in women's sports, and 67% of Democrats don't like it. So even most Democrats, including myself, don't believe that should be legit.
Well, right, but why y'all voted to not pass that bill that Trump introduced? Because the Democrats shot it down, bro, and that's what I'm saying. And I want you to give credit where credit is due. Like they shot that bill down in Congress, so now Trump's gonna go do executive order or something because he gonna go around Congress. But the Democrats said, look at that vote, bro. They agreed. They disagree with his policy. Like they want, like they said it's okay. If you are, here's the thing. And listen, I don't know what your belief is, but I believe in God. And some people, on the left and the right, that's conservatives that I know don't believe in God. That's okay. And it's people on the left that don't believe in God. That's okay. But for me, I vote because of my principles and how I was brought up. Okay. And if you are a Democrat today, you cannot be a Christian. And let me tell you why. And I'm not trying to change the subject.
I'm listening.
Look at everything. I know you're trying to find that information, but
I'm trying to find my own video. When you ask why did the Democrats vote against that bill, I'm looking for the video I just posted yesterday because I explained in detail by that senator. I think what is his name? Tuberville. He's the one that tried to propose the bill. I explained in detail why, because this is the third time he's tried to do that and failed. I explained in detail why they won't pass that bill.
But they shot it down. So it was.
And you asked me why does the Democrats keep shooting it down? I explained in detail why that bill is getting shot down in the video I just made yesterday.
Yeah.
It's because he is fucking lying. He gets up there and says that women in girls sports are damn near extinct. He uses the word extinct. He says that there are all male teams playing against girls. This stuff ain't happening. The dude is lying.
No, it's not. Here's the thing. The media spin what he's saying.
No, it ain't. No, I got him on. No, hold on. In my video, I got him on camera saying it ain't got nothing to do with the media. He's on Fox News saying it himself. He's lying.
But like you said, what he meant to say is though.
Hey,
Handsome. Listen, you and I both know
I don't want to call you by your name because I'm gonna go you by hand.
You're doing good. Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
No, but look, the thing of it is you and I both know that what Trump was meaning to say is that, like in Maine, this statement in Maine, like everybody is on board about not letting men compete with women,
right?
Because you got some states, like I'm in Texas, so we ain't going for that shit. Ain't no man finna play with the women in Texas. We know that. Louisiana,
okay.
All your South states not gonna happen, but in Maine, it's okay. And what he was trying to say was, like you're up north, like Midwest, like Maine up there, like that's what he was saying. It wasn't. You and I both know it's not everywhere, and that's where when Trump say things, they hold what he say and they try to crucify him because you and I both know that's not everywhere.
Okay,
but
well,
what I'm trying to say is like she said, the congresswoman, the Democrat in your party said, "Well, I'm gonna see you in court." And, because he said, she said she's going to follow the law, but you're okay with letting men beat in women's sport. When, that should be fact. Hey, come on, man. I'm from Texas, bro.
You're not
a small guy, man. How would you feel if your daughter was playing against a boy, man? You have a problem with that.
I'm going to ask you this. Where the fuck is that happening at? Why is this such a big... Where is all this shit? Where are all these teams with biological boys playing against girls? Why is this making such a big-ass issue?
Maine was one of the biggest states, Maine.
And how many transgender athletes in a big-ass state like Maine, do they even have 5 of these people in that whole state?
It's transgender. If you go back to Virginia and PA in Virginia, it was a woman, a swimmer, right? And she had to go against a biological man. So it's states out there. It's just not like I'm in Texas, but it's not happening here. But don't deflect from that because you know that shit happening, bro.
I didn't say it was not happening. I didn't what I said. What I'm saying is the hatred toward this community. You guys are literally fighting 1 or 2 in a country of 350 million people. Hold on. In a country of 350 million people, I could put a gun to most of you guys' heads and you couldn't come up with 10. That's how little this is. You're making a big-ass issue over something that is virtually non-existent.
I'm just saying, I was just making a point about it. So
it shouldn't be getting this much attention.
You take what I say, and I'm just saying, the man ran, you got 77 million votes, just people that actually voted. The man, you got to give Trump a credit. The man ran on everything he said he was going to do. He said he going to secure the border.
He said nothing about the Panama Canal. He didn't say nothing about Greenland. He didn't say nothing about rare earth minerals. He's doing a whole lot more than he ran on.
Yeah, but he got the highest approval rating to the day right now. Why is that?
I don't believe that's true. I'm hearing that from some of
this from CNN. I don't like CNN.
Oh, you believe CNN now?
With a poll, bro.
You believe?
Hey, the Wall Street Journal. What's the left-leaning news? Wall Street Journal. What's the other one, man? Like, hey,
the New York Times or whatever. Look.
Hey, so you can't tell me Biden was better than Trump because Biden was he look at the conversation, look at the transparency right now within the media. When Biden never really talked about anything.
I don't disagree with that.
Stuff, so look, at the end of the day, bro, and listen, you still my brother, man. I'm always support your platform. If something happens, I'm gonna still support you. But you gotta call a spade what a spade is, man. Is that?
Well, let me. Okay, wait.
Trump is perfect. Let me land my plane with this. I'm not saying Trump is perfect, but my God, this man said everything he was going when he ran this last term, what he was going to do, right? Just like they say he's going to be Project 2025. He was going to be a threat to democracy, and he was going to take all this away. Just like the Democrats like Jack and Crockett, they got all these people up here, puppets up here, saying all this stuff, but they looking like fools now because you got people, like my grandmother's 84 years old, my other grandmother on my daddy's side, she 84 years old, and she's like, she a full of shit, grandson. That man ain't trying to take no rights away, ain't trying to take food.
All happened.
I don't know if I agree with some of the like you mentioned that he's delivered on his promises, such as here's a quick clip. You give me your explanation on this.
Will happen very quickly. This will rapidly drive prices down, lower interest rates, and put more money into the pockets of American consumers. It'll also bring your grocery bill way down. I have more complaints on grocery. The word grocery, it's sort of simple word, but it sort of means like everything you eat. The stomach is speaking. It always does.
Has he done any of that yet? He said he'd do it on day one. He was going to start that. Has he done anything?
Well, come on now. Come on now. You have all intents to do everything. A lot of things, you can't do because you got.
You just said he's meeting his promises.
I'm saying what I'm saying is, come on, handsome. Come on, don't try to do that to me, right? Listen.
I'm going by what you said.
What I'm saying is that the man said what he majority thing, no tax on chips.
Has he done that?
Well, he got it passed, but the Democrats shot it down.
So he didn't do it.
Well, he did it. It's passed. He got to go through legislation.
Well, it ain't happened yet. You're giving him credit for some shit that ain't.
But he did. He put the bill within the House and the Senate. He did what he said he was going to do.
I will.
You're giving him credit for stuff he's talking about doing. He ain't done it yet, and you're already giving him credit for it.
He did executive orders to do those things, right? He did what he said he was going to do.
Right now, if you get a tip, right now, if you get overtime or you get a tip, do you have to pay taxes on it? Is that true or not?
If you get overtime right now, you have to pay taxes on it right now.
So he ain't done it yet, then.
Exactly.
That's what
and it's still in the progress. When it happens, though, then what?
Then I'll give him credit for it. But you're giving him credit now. He doesn't deserve credit right now. Here's another one for you. Here's another one.
I will prevent, and very easily, World War III, very easily. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the disastrous war between Russia and Ukraine settled. It will be settled quickly.
They said before he even enters the Oval Office. What happened with that? Was that a promise made and kept?
Okay, so again, handsome.
I'm listening.
So you and I both know, right?
I know he said that.
You seen what happened.
I seen what he said.
You seen what he said. You seen what happened. But right now is Russia is standing down right now, right?
No, they're not standing down. They're still bombing them. They're not standing down.
Well, there's people dying, like you said. There's people still dying. But listen, he can end the war. Watch this address tonight.
Marcus, he said before he enters the Oval Office. He's been in the Oval Office for like 40 days or more. What happened? He didn't do this.
So you see, handsome. See, you nitpick the stuff that he didn't get done in office, right? Let's talk about all the people he got freed just now. He wasn't even in office.
You had no.
Getting in office. You better release those hostages. And what happened?
You had no problem giving him credit for the things he did. But hang on. The minute you had no problem giving him. You had no problem giving him credit for the things he did, but when I point out things he didn't, now all of a sudden, what? Look, he done some things, he failed at some things.
Come on, you and I both know it's politics, bro. It's politics in this game, and you know that. Right?
Should he be held accountable?
And what the Democrat Party is today, that's what they do. They look right now. They have no merits on right now. So you're looking to hold him accountable for shit that he said he was going to do, like you're doing right now.
Should I not do that?
He said he's going to do this here, and he didn't do that, right? We know it didn't happen.
Should I not?
Once it happens, then what?
I'll call a spade. You just said I call a spade a spade. Once it happens, I'll give him credit.
Because listen, without Donald Trump, a lot of you liberals and even conservatives that have these conversations, right? Mm-hmm. They gonna have a platform, but they're sitting in it for the wrong reasons. One thing I can say about you, either for the truth, but the thing of it is that, man, you and I both know that today, the Democratic Party today is not the party it was when my grandma and my other grandma, she's on TikTok on my daddy's side. Don't agree with the Democrats today.
Are you kidding me? So you're going to tell me the Democrat Party ain't what they used to be, but you're going to tell me that the Trump Party is the same as Bush and Reagan?
No, it's different.
Right.
They're rhinos, bro.
You're going to tell me that Reagan and Bush, they're rhinos, but Trump is a genuine Republican?
On paper, Trump.
He ain't even a damn Christian.
Did you know Biden? I didn't. But Obama and Bush have ties together.
Trump
Bush is a rhino.
Trump is not a Christian. He's been married to multiple women, cheating on his wife. How is he? Wait.
Trump, I never said he was a Christian man.
How is
he
Trump?
Nobody perfect, but I mean, hey, the man is a convicted felon. Y'all got him with some bullshit charges and shit like that. But listen, look, at the end of the day, bro, I know how you work and operate, bro. You're not gonna pin me in no corner for your audience. But
I believe that. I definitely believe that.
My thing is this right here, man. All I'm gonna tell you is, man, just get some popcorn ready and just watch.
51.
Because see, right now, like you and a lot of other people, y'all only looking at the shit that he ain't get done.
And you only looking at the shit that he did. You only look. Hold on, hang on. You said.
The border is more secure than it is now.
I agree with that, but you just said it right. You said the Democrats are only looking at the shit he didn't get done, and I said you're only looking at the shit he did. So it's politics on both sides.
Okay, he tried to men from competing in women's sports. Your Democratic Party. I mean, I wish it's not my lie, but I can pull it up and show you where everybody voted against that bill in the Democratic Party.
I gotta move it on, but
I know you gotta move on.
Real quick.
You know what? How can you be a Christian and vote Democrat? You can't.
All right.
And that's what I'm gonna leave to. Hey, Ansel, thank you for letting me up, bro. I enjoy you. I respect what you do, man. There's no hate with you, man. Because you're a fair game guy, and God bless you, brother. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, bro. But I'm out. Thank you for letting me up.
Appreciate it. My door's always open to you, man. Thank you. Real quick, before I move on, and he's saying you can't be a Christian and vote Democrat. I could take that conversation a million ways. I don't believe that being in favor of the death penalty, which the right is in favor of, that ain't very Christian either. I don't believe that is, you tell a woman that is wanting to be pro-choice, what she is doing is taking the life of the unborn, so therefore she can't be a Christian. But if you don't like the criminal actions of another citizen, you can take the life. What you're essentially doing is telling a woman, I don't believe your right for killing is accurate, but mine is. It's not right for you to kill, but I'm killing for a good reason. Then you're not Christian either. Not to mention all of the wars and shit that we promoted under George W. Bush from the Conservative Party. You're totally okay with killing men, weren't you? So the whole idea that you can't be a Christian if you vote Democrat, I can point to a whole lot of shit that the right is doing, up to and including all sorts of shit like what they're doing to the immigrants that there's no way in hell I believe any God would be in favor of doing. Is that you know that these folks are desperate and downtrodden, and you're telling them to come the legal way when you know damn well they don't have those options. You know they don't have the money required. You know they may be running from the cartel. You know they may be starving to death. All of that. And I won't even begin to get into how unchristian Elon Musk tax cuts are for some of these other nations abroad via USAID. So the idea that you can't be Christian if you're a Democrat, but all of a sudden you can do all of that shit on the Republican side, up to and including idolizing the Confederates who did nothing but oppressed and mistreated people of color. I could go a million directions with this shit, but I appreciate my last call. I want to tackle what he said because I put a video out. I'm only going to play about 2 or 3 minutes of this, but it is in regards to exactly what he said about the Democrats did shoot down the bill trying to, what was it called? Because I even got the name of the damn bill in my protection against women in sports or something like that it's called. I'm trying to get to the point where I had it on the screen because I did a video on it, but I'll play a little bit of it. Here it is. This appeared on a major cable news outlet about 5 minutes ago. Check this out.
All right, as we await the president, the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act gets a vote on the Senate floor later on today. This bill would set a stronger precedent to keep trans athletes out of women's sports, and states who don't comply would face consequences. At least 7 Democrats will need to get on board for it to pass a filibuster. Let's bring in Senator Tommy Tuberville, the Alabama senator who introduced the bill. So do you have 7 Democrats out there who care enough about protecting women in sports to join with Republicans?
Well, John, I would hope so, but it's a heavy lift. This is third time I've had it on the floor. I've gotten 1 Democrat vote. That was Joe Manchin. Obviously, he's gone. But we're getting to a point now where women and girls' sports are getting ready to be extinct, because already in states across this country, we have high school teams that are made up of totally boys participating against girls. So it's very serious. Hopefully we can get something done today, but President Trump's executive order is only going to last on 4 years. After that, it'll probably go the other way.
Now, I'm 100% against letting a biological male play for a girls' sports team, but Senator Tommy Tuberville of Alabama is a fucking liar. Now, I know if you favor the right, if you lean right, you vote for Trump. Nothing wrong with that at all. You know I love my MAGA. But this is bullshit. This is not true. And a hell of a lot of folks on the right believe this, that this is some kind of epidemic that's putting young girls at risk. Let's break down a couple of the statements he made, such as, women in girls' sports are getting ready to be extinct. Where the fuck is that happening at? Show me a school in America where the women or the girls on the team are getting ready to be extinct, as if they're being overrun by transgender females playing on the same team. I don't think he could come up with one school in America that fits the description of what he just said. Women in girls' sports are getting ready to be extinct. He is projecting something that he believes maybe that is way the hell off in the future. I'll tell you it is, and here's where you may disagree with me again. I believe that even if they did have some sort of law that allowed biological boys to play in girls' sports, there's not enough of them to ever get to the point where females in sports are going to be extinct. Transgender people represent such a tiny ass portion of society, and then you got to factor in the amount of them that make up for students. Then you got to factor in the amount of the students that actually are playing sports. This is just straight up bullshit. Now, Fox News did give a study, and I'll give you a clip of this. Here's what being honest sounds like, and this is on Fox News. This is what simply should have been said.
American people are on this issue, according to a recent New York Times Ipsos poll. 79% of all Americans believe that transgender athletes should not be allowed in women's sports. 94% of Republicans believe that. 67% of Democrats. So the tide would seem to be in your favor.
Fox News is right. Most Americans do not agree with biological males playing in female sports. Fox News is 100% right about that. Now, even in their own video, 67% of Democrats do not believe that male athletes should be allowed to play in female sports. The reason why he's had to present this 3 times on the floor and he's not been successful in getting it passed is because he's lying. Listen to the shit he said. Not only did he say that women in girls' sports are about to become extinct, he also said high school teams are made up of totally boys participating against girls. Where the hell is that happening at? Once again, this dude is a liar, period. Even if you believe in the cause he's fighting for, that don't mean you just pretend like what he is saying is true. He is making a mountain out of a molehill to get his bill passed. I think what Fox News presented, showing that even 67% of Democrats are not for this, just tell the fucking truth. Why make up a whole bunch of lies that are easily disproven? If he is presenting this on the House floor and some Democrat questions him and says, can you show me a school in America that fits the narrative of what you're saying, he's not going to be able to come up with one. You can maybe point to one athlete over here or one athlete over there that was born a boy, I'm having a Biden moment, that was born male and is dominating a female, which is wrong, as I just stated. But to make it sound like it's happening in so many damn locations, women are going extinct. And I'm at that point, I'm kind of repeating. It's only about a minute left. But that's my point. Is the reason why this bill is failing, in my opinion, is because people know what he is presenting is bullshit. Why not just tell the truth? Why go on the House floor and make up shit that everybody knows is not true? Everybody knows that transgender in women's sports is exceptionally rare. Why use words like extinct and boys-only schools? That's just, I mean, how many hundreds, if not thousands of schools exist in America? How many schools are featuring a team that is all boys playing against girls and all of the boys are transgender, females? That ain't happening nowhere. So, as I stated, even though you may agree with his cause, because I don't believe biological males should play in female sports, I'm not going to fucking vote on his side when he's making up lies like that. At the end of the day, I believe what he's doing could get people killed. Because you make people look at transgender folks and think that they're just out here either trying to harm kids in bathrooms or play on teams and destroy the work of hardworking female athletes. When the amount of transgender people that are actually guilty of doing that is a decimal point with a whole bunch of zeros after it. It's not enough of them for this to be this big of a fucking issue. So there's no way I'm gonna side with him when I know he is presenting a lie as the reason he's trying to pass the bill. And that dude is lying his ass off. Now in the comments, Cornhub is saying it's happening in Nowhereville, Ohio. Exactly, this shit ain't happening. I mean, you know it's bad when everybody is picking one person in a nation of 350 million people to use as an example. If it's that bad when women are going extinct, I'd say at least 1 out of every 100 schools should have somebody doing this. It should be a lot of examples of it. This is amount to nothing more than transphobia. It's nothing more than hatred. You're using 1 or 2 people to literally criticize the entire transgender community. It's hate, period. It's hate. The same thing with the fucking bathrooms and all of that shit. Knowing damn well your child is more at risk for being assaulted in a bathroom if he is a boy and he's going in the bathroom with a bunch of straight males. There are more straight males that are abusing children, probably in bathrooms, than transgender folks. You want to pass a law that says kids can't go in the bathroom with another man? Because they have a more chance of being violated by that dude than they do by transgender people. You want to stop them from going to church? It's documented there. This is nothing but hate. It's nothing but hate. And then he's on a damn House floor trying to pass a bill where it literally is rooted in transphobia. I can't back that. I can't, and I would say that on the House floor. I'm okay with keeping sports among the right genders. But I'm not going to back this bill because it's all about hate. I would literally say that. You can't prove a damn thing what you just said as the reason you passing this. You can't prove this is happening in schools, to anywhere near using words like fucking extinct. Extinct? I would bring that up on the House floor. You know, if you had told the truth, I might have fucked with you. But when you come in here talking this wild ass shit, you got the right that is mad for saying that the police harm more blacks than whites. And there are actual real numbers of whites and real numbers of blacks being harmed by police. This shit right here amounts to something you can count on one hand in a country of 350 million people. I would literally tell my House floor, I can't vote with you when you trying to make some shit out of something that doesn't exist. Or it is so far down in the weeds. You could find people losing their lives to very rare forms of cancer in greater numbers than this shit he talking about. This should not be to the point where we passing bills to stop it. It's based on hate. Even though I agree with what they're trying to pass the bill for, it ain't happening enough for this to be happening. This is based on hatred. Call it what you want. This is based on hate. Looking in the comments real quick. By the way, 50 minutes, a little bit less than 50 minutes until Trump addressed the nation. So we're going to be stopping this soon because I do want to hear what Trump has to say. We'll see what happens. He's telling a Christian lie. Yeah, I don't know what it is. And by the way, you got a much emphasis on much greater chance of your child being abused by a Christian than you do by a transgender member. Looking in the comments, conservatives really think that they have the religious and moral high ground, complete hypocrites. I can't disagree with that. What my last caller said, you can't be Democrat and vote Christian. I can't disagree with it. I would try if I could. One biological boy can displace 20,000 young girls. Wait a minute. One biological boy can displace 20,000 young girls if the boy makes the finals sonata extremely unfair. That one boy can do that. You know, one drop of fentanyl that fits on the head of a pig can kill 20 million. I don't know. This, like I said, God. So who took the measurements? Who took the measurements to make a statement like that? Maxwell Smart, thank you for the super chat. Says one biological boy can displace 20,000 young girls if the boy makes the finals. Sonata extremely wow. You know what this? You know what? You know what that almost sounds like when I'm reading that. It sounds like I'm trying to see if I had the clip up because it reminds me of something that Trump just said the other day. What was it? I don't. You know, what if a bomb drops on your head? That's what it sounds like. What if you know when the lady said, "Well, what if Putin doesn't honor the ceasefire?" Well, what if a bomb drop? That's what that sounds like. But anyway, it is unfair if it happens, but it is so rare that you find a girl that says, I mean, there's a whole lot of girls in America that went state, played sports, volleyball, all the way to basketball, you name it, that got records all over America throughout schools and colleges. How many of them can say that the record I worked hard to get was taken down by a biologically born male that went as a girl? Out of all of the thousands of athletes, female athletes, how many of them can actually say that the record I put up was lost to a bio? I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Mountain over a molehill. Virtually, I mean, and I'll go into the argument. People always say, well, one is too many. You know, you hear about that all the time. Yeah, it's not happening that much, but you know, one is too many. How about one lie by Senator Tuberville, one lie on the House floor? How about that being too many? Talking about women are going extinct. One lie to get a bill passed. How about saying that one lie like that is too many? Because he clearly was lying. He clearly was lying and talking about women about to go extinct and all that bullshit. The only reason there's a war on women's sports is because they don't want equal opportunities and contracts for females. The reason there's a war on women's sports is because they don't want equal opportunity and contracts for females. That's if it's a war on women's sports and it only involves women, we can entertain that. But they're talking about biological males transitioning and playing with women's sport. To me, the only reason for that is hatred towards that community. Making it sound like, you know, it's just like the whole they'll eat your pets or some of these other arguments that it's only a couple people doing it. And you know, the same thing with immigrants being rapists and murderers. And they keep talking about Lincoln Riley, which you should have all kinds of examples. You got 18 million immigrants in this country. Why are you constantly talking about Lincoln Riley? There should be, I bring this up all the time. Being from Chicago, you watch the 10 o'clock news, they talk about murders that happen in Chicago. You watch the news the next day, they're not talking about the murders from yesterday. They're talking about new people that got fucking murdered because there's a lot of murders in Chicago. If you gotta keep talking about the same thing over and over again, that shows it ain't happening that much. If you gotta talk about Lincoln Riley week after week after week, that shows they really ain't murdering a lot of people. You shouldn't have to keep talking about this one. There should be many new ones. Making a mountain out of a molehill to demonize a ton of people that have none. This is the same argument in regards to the federal government. All of these lazy employees who couldn't waste, fraud, and abuse. Making it sound like anybody that works for the federal government is just a lazy fuck and needs to go. Typical MAGA ancient Will G. 33 minutes until Trump speaks. Forget the 94 crime bill. Trump was complaining about he wants to, but the dealers, he wants to put the dealers in the electric chair. Did he say that? I think he did say something like that. I don't think he would get a lot of resistance. I think there's a lot of Americans that would agree that if you're dealing deadly narcotics, I mean, you've seen what happened with the 94 crime bill. A lot of folks don't care about drug dealers. If he wanted to have drug dealers qualify for the death penalty, which to me also is some anti-Christian shit in regards to my last caller, I think the right would be okay with that. I think the right and a lot of Americans, even some liberals, would be okay executing folks that committed a whole host of crimes that did not involve the death of another person. Abusing a child is very popular. Most people would agree that if you take the sexual innocence of a child, you should qualify to die. The child is still alive, though. So, like I said, it's a matter of telling women that want to choose. Their right for killing is wrong, but your belief that you're killing for a legitimate reason. I don't see anything Christian in that. Tell these dull MAGA Christians about the slave Bible and how they took 90% of the books out to justify slavery and pillaging. Yeah, they gave the slaves a different type of Bible. Something about that whole damn education thing doesn't go well with slavery, so we got to keep them uneducated. Maxwell Smart says it's documented that most guys are gays by being touched as youth. Sonic's safe to say trans would repeat their vices. He's saying that most gay people were turned that way by being touched as a child. I haven't seen any evidence to I haven't seen any of that. Most so the Catholic Church is just full of gay kids. So I've not heard it. Where are you getting that from? It's and he said it's documented that most gay by being touched as a youth. I don't buy that. I'm going to plead somewhat, even though I don't believe it. I'm going to plead ignorance. I'm going to say I can't totally dispel it because I would have to see your source. I've never heard that before. I do acknowledge though, being sexually abused can fuck with somebody's sexual well-being. But out of all of the gay people in the country, you telling me most of them were abused as a kid, and that's what made I don't buy that. I'd have to see some real serious evidence on that. How when a lot believe they were fat from birth? I think I know what you're talking about. A lot of gay people would tell you they knew they were gay at a very young age. And they don't, you talk to the gay community, they don't tell you it came from being touched and abused. They don't ever tell you nothing like that. So I don't know where you're getting that from. Might be from an anti-gay documentary or something. Will G says trans is the end all be all, shall excuse not fund women's sports for contracts and opportunities. So you believe the right have an end for women and equality. That's Project 2025 stuff. I can't speak on it, but that is some Project 2025 stuff. Mr. Walter, good evening. Welcome to the program. You gonna be listening to Trump tonight?
I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to listen to that motherfucker.
Oh my God. He's the president.
Yeah, he's the fucking devil is what that fucker is, man. I don't even listen to that motherfucker.
Damn.
I'll catch his highlights tomorrow, but I'm not giving him any credits on, ratings. He's going to say, what are the ratings? What's the market? That's his ratings. No, fuck him.
You know they going to say you got Trump derangement syndrome with that one.
I don't give a fuck. Fuck them. I do. I don't give a fuck. I hate that motherfucker.
Why do you hate him that much?
Dude, what has happened to this country since he's been in office for not even 2 months? Have you seen the stock market? I will hate him purely on my 401k.
Yeah. Yeah, the 401k is taking a major hit.
Just that one.
Yeah, there's no denying people's 401ks with the stock market are taking a major hit. I see Trump is leaving the White House right now, getting into the beast. You're not watching it, but I'm watching it on Fox. I got Fox playing behind. He's heading to So no chance you're gonna view Trump favorably in any way, fashion, or form.
He's showing his ass at this point, has he not? He's come out for Russia. He's shunned our most loyal trading partners. He's violated his own trading agreement with Canada and Mexico. That was his agreement that he crafted that we are violating at this point.
Yeah,
why would you trust this guy? No one should trust this guy.
Even some of the DEI hires he fired were people he appointed. I don't have an answer for that. He does have an interesting way of changing his mind on shit.
Yeah, you saw where this KGB agent came out and said that, he's been a agent since, I think 1987. You saw this?
No, what happened? Keep going.
An ex-KGB agent said, Trump has been compromised since 1987.
Oh, really? Where'd you see that at?
I love you, Tim, but honestly, I work probably 12 hours a day and I hear this shit. I don't understand how you don't see this shit. Yes, he's fucking been, yes, that happened. And a second KGB agent who, was a different person and confirmed it. And said,
where did you hear this shit, though?
Tim, this is not far left or whatever. This is mainstream, politics. I mean, this is like, Reuters,
Let me just make sure I'm not the only one that's completely out of the fucking loop. By way of yes or no in the comments, how many more of you folks have heard this, that an ex-KGB agent has basically came out and said that Trump is a Russian asset? Has anybody else heard this? I have not heard it. Yeah, they definitely have heard it. Some of them on
This is, I really enjoy you, man, but I feel like you're a little bit,
I'm out of the loop on some shit. Yes, I have not heard that.
He had a code name, Krasnov. I mean, this is not, whatever. Okay, so let's pretend that didn't happen. I mean, Occam's razor, if you look at what's happening to what our policy has been for 80 years, and now we're supporting Russia, and we're, shunning our democratic elected countries that are, NATO allies. I mean, what the fuck? Can you not see that there's a big shift in foreign policy? And they see it. They're doing it.
Well, I will say this. Regardless of what you may think about Trump, most of the shit he's doing, he did run on it a lot. I mean, we knew when Trump won, he was not going to be favorable to the Ukraine. Now, some of this Panama Canal and Gulf of America shit, no, he didn't run on that. But you knew in terms of that war, you knew in terms of even working for the federal government, he's talking about shrinking the size of government. I mean, he did tell people some of this, the whole immigration and deportation thing people complaining about. He made it clear, I'm going to have the largest deportation in history. So...
All right, look. I get it. That's a pivot.
Did he not do that though?
Look, you're trying to, play devil's advocate. I get that, but yes, on the immigration thing, that's not a real pivot. But as far as turning 180 degrees on Ukraine, he did not. You
really think that? You really think he turned 180 degrees on Ukraine?
Did he not? Listen, man, that whole thing in the Oval Office, that was a fucking setup. They set that whole thing up in order to withdraw support from Ukraine, which they fucking did today. That whole thing, that was
Here's what I mean. Here's what I mean when I'm questioning your notion that he turned 180 degrees. I mean, you had everybody from Tucker Carlson on down. The right was anti-Ukraine long before Trump became president. They made it clear they thought the guy was spending money on Bugattis and all kinds of shit. They've been talking about he was wasting the money. Ever since the whole perfect phone call, Trump has convinced them that, Zelenskyy is not trustworthy. So the idea that Trump becomes president and he starts treating the Ukrainians like shit, that was predictable in my opinion.
Okay, yeah, predictable to you and me, but did he ever say anything against Ukraine back then?
Yeah,
no, he did not.
He did not. You're telling me they weren't complaining about the money we're sending Ukraine or none of that?
Was Trump?
Yeah.
Was Trump complaining? No, he was not. No, he was not. He was not complaining about the money. And he did not call him a dictator.
No, he didn't do that. He didn't do that.
Yeah, I'm saying he's escalated this rhetoric to the point that this is before Putin. He couldn't be, 100% in Putin's camp before, but he is now. And we see that now. Nobody can deny that he is 100% in Putin's camp now.
No, I think, and I've had people try to deny that, but at this point, yeah, Trump sees Russia as an ally. If you want to continue denying that, you're just full of it. Yeah, I said that last night and people disagree with me.
He told Zelenskyy that you brought this on yourself, basically.
Yeah, bro, he said you started it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who can believe this shit? Other than people who are, pro-fascism. I don't know. I think, honestly, that the play is that they want us to be another Russia. They want us to be another, your vote really doesn't matter, and we're just going to keep, our leaders in power no matter what the fuck happens. We're going to oppress people that oppose us. I mean, it's all in play. Occam's razor, man. Occam's razor. Look at it. It doesn't make any sense otherwise.
Yeah, I don't. A lot of what you said, I totally agree that if Trump and Trump supporters do not like you, he does seem to be running a campaign on trying to make those folks' lives miserable. I mean, I don't. The people we don't like, go after them. That's the wins I keep giving him credit for, is that people like the fact that he is targeting folks they have an issue with, lifestyles you don't like, policies you don't like. He is targeting all that stuff. But as I say,
that's how he does it. It's a wedge issue. He says, I don't like the people that you don't like. Basically, anybody who's a mediocre white person who hasn't been able to succeed in life and blames it on, minorities, those are the reasons that you've not been able to do, well in life. Those are the reasons you're taking the money. Those are the people who are holding you down. This is a wedge issue, just like it's happened in other dictatorships.
So you do believe Trump is trying to form a dictatorship?
I 100% believe
so
that.
You don't believe he's leaving in 2028?
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, honestly...
A limited dictatorship? A limited dictatorship?
He's old. I think he would maybe pass it, to somebody, and it ain't gonna be J.D. Vance, I can tell you that.
Well, shit, you can tell me, he told us already himself. He came out and said that.
Yeah, they ain't gonna be couch fucker, I can tell you.
And J.D. Vance is on the couch, and J.D. Vance is on the couch attacking Zelenskyy. Zelenskyy should have said, motherfucker, you ain't even gonna get the job after he gone. You sitting here attacking me, I'm never gonna need to do business with you because he made it clear you ain't even gonna get the job. Why are you even here? That's what he should have said to him.
Yeah, exactly. Two things I wanted to point out.
Sure.
You ever remember when they were talking about, Pam Bondi's going to bring out the Epstein files and all that?
That's been a bust.
What happened to that?
Yeah, that's been a bust. Complete bust.
Yeah. Why is that a bust? Because Trump is his best fucking friend is why that shit is a bust. That ain't shit never coming out. Ever. Yeah. That was his best friend for 15 years. Look, all I was gonna say is that MAGA will never. You could put out, the best case, all the evidence, lay it out, and these MAGA people, and you do this best of all because you've been doing this shit for a long time. They will never concede. They will never see it if you try to explain it. However, they're starting to fucking find out. These ranchers, these people, these farmers who've all been fucked over by all of these policies, it's coming home to roost. And that's how they're going to fucking see it. These people who are going to be personally hurt by his policies, these tariffs, this shit is going to...
Well, when you start talking about the farmers, the potash that comes out of Canada, they've already... that premier of Toronto, what is his name? Something Ford. He's already talked about that. So the farmers are about to get hit again. Not to mention whatever the tariffs do, but the farmers who are overwhelmingly MAGA, they're going to. You're right. They're going to see it themselves personally because rural communities are definitely pro-Trump.
They've already predicted the economy in the first quarter is going to shrink by 2.5%. Do you know what it was last quarter?
What?
It grew by 2.5%. We're dropped 5% since Trump's been elected.
You think MAGA will notice that?
That is a Great Recession level drop.
You think MAGA will hold Trump accountable for that?
This is what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what you and I, liberal, whatever, say. When it starts hitting normal Americans' pocketbook, that's all that fucking matters to Americans. If it starts hitting your pocketbook and you're like, what the fuck?
You know something, to be honest with you, and I agree with you 100%, but to be honest with you, I think that's why we have a lot of problems in this damn country is because people don't give a damn about anything but what hits their pocketbook. There's a lot of shit that goes on that means, we're talking about actual human lives. Everybody is putting money over every damn thing else. Like some folks say, well, you sold out this or that for the price of eggs. Like, everything is about money. If you give Americans enough money, they'll turn a blind eye to any damn thing. We sound like greedy motherfuckers.
I don't, look, I love America. I grew up, I'm your age, America, USA. But that is our fucking culture, dude. It's about the money.
That's capitalism. That's how capitalism works. Everything. Money is more important than every damn thing, even other human lives. I mean, it's just... And then people come on here and talk about you can't be Christian and vote Democrat with that mentality. I gotta move it on though, Mr. Walter. You put me through it today.
All right, bye. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Mr. Walter made me work. I did not hear about that spy shit. Now I want to know. I want to know. I love this guy says the truth says JoJo. Yeah, Mr. Walter was good shit, good talk. And no, Will, I didn't know. I didn't hear about that. And I will say this though, in regards to Trump, I'm going to give Steve Bannon the win in regards to flood the zone. There is so much that goes on in regards to President Trump. You know, to be honest with you, I may have heard about it because I literally fall asleep at night with CNN or Fox News in my ear. I listen to news that much, but there's so much going on with Trump that it's impossible to actually remember it and catch it all. He literally, just yesterday we're talking about Zelenskyy not getting any aid from the United States as Trump cut it all off. The day before that, we were talking about the argument they had in the White House over on Friday. Every day, now we're talking about tariffs. Every day it is a completely different subject to the point where Zelenskyy didn't even come up that much in this conversation, which even though that's a major ongoing issue right now, it's moving that fast. We haven't had a program on borders and deportations in about a week. I mean, the shit is moving so fast, it's impossible to get it all. It's literally impossible to get it all. But that is the speed at which President Trump moves. So what can you say? Anyhow, folks, I do need to probably step away. You got 15 minutes until Trump speaks. I'll give a little bit of chance. I want to hear a little bit of smoke from the Honorable King Finn before I'm a truck driver and I can't keep up with all. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. As a truck driver, you got plenty of time to listen to the news. It's just so much shit coming in. It's hard to catch it all. It's moving too fast. I tried to bring up one of the guests. Apparently I got a call or something coming in. Anyhow, folks, I'm going to go ahead and step away. I'm going to catch this speech. I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a good one. Moving on with the program. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I got to step away. And hopefully some of you guys are watching this because that's what we'll be talking about the next time we come on is that speech.